Fiveish Fangirls, I love you, and I'm one of the Fiveish. In fact, I'm the biggest one of the Fiveish. I am the Sixth Doctor Colin Baker, and I wish you all well. Have fun.
Exactly. Yes. Oh, most definitely. Yeah. And people ask me, like, "Are you sure you didn't want to teach us here?" I'm like,
I will be
This is
support
this
staff. That's
this
fine.
is easy. And I'm repping. I'm wearing my internship.
Nice.
Nice, very
Cool,
nice,
cool,
very
cool.
snazzy, very snazzy.
Yes. But man, that Portugal Spain game yesterday, holy henna,
Wow.
that was
Because you know what? Here's the weird thing. I was actually I was like, lying in bed because I was just super lazy. It was Sunday, and I was like, I don't really want to do anything. And then like the Portugal Spain game is on. Oh yeah, okay, hop it, roll out of bed, and roll onto the couch. That's why. Yeah, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I mean, if this is the level of games we'll be going to get at the World Cup, holy moly.
we're going to be in for some good football.
I think so. I think so. Even though everybody's super worried about the heat, apparently, over in the US.
Yeah, we can get pretty.
Yeah. I
The
mean,
humidity
also
is what
where
is
they've
what
chosen
can get you.
is also the places they've chosen to host the games. I mean, even the Club World Cups, California, Pasadena in June. You're like, that's
Yeah, I know.
Nah, see, this is what they're thinking, and I know what they're thinking. Although California, they do have the added bonus of they do have the ocean breeze.
Oh yeah.
But you know, it's all a dry heat out here in the West, which they make it sound like, oh, this is so much better. But I've lived in Florida. I was there for the summer. I think I take. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like either one of them. I don't like the dry heat. I don't like the humidity. I don't like summer. But if you are close by the ocean, it makes it a little more bearable.
I think a lot of teams are hoping they don't play in Mexico because of the heat.
Ugh.
A lot of people are really hoping they get to play in Canada, in Vancouver, where it might be actually.
I would
as hot.
too, because Mexico, it's just in Utah's weird because we've got the northern part, which gets all 4 seasons, really really cold in the winter, really really hot in the summer, and then you go to the southern Utah, closer to Arizona, and wintertime is gorgeous. You'll love it. Summertime, it's like 110, 120, and then you go further south into Arizona, and that's like, why do people live in Arizona? Like, you die.
Good point.
And then Mexico is, even worse. But ocean.
No surprise. Last time we had the World Cup that was in Qatar, they decided to play in the winter.
Yes, that seems like.
Granted, the stadiums were air conditioned and everything else, but like, there's no way we can have everybody coming over in summer in Qatar.
No. And I bet whatever trees are there, they are man-made or man-planted and cared for, just like they are out here. Like where I grew up, if there were trees, they were ones that people had planted and watered themselves. Oh yeah. They do not grow spontaneously.
Oh, I mean, my sister every now and then goes. I mean, they want to literally plan on living there, but they took my niece, my sister, her husband, and my niece went to Dubai. They spend their days in air-conditioned places. They don't go out.
I don't blame them.
I don't either.
They're either poolside or going to shopping malls where it's air-conditioned, because outside of that, you're not going to want to go outside of in Dubai right now.
No, you do not. And, this time of year where I am, it's like, no, we're staying in the house. Even though kids, I know you want to go to the park. I know you want to go to the splash pad, the pool, or whatever. We'll do that in the morning because I am not sitting out here.
Nevada, I guess, is the same kind of deal. I mean, I was talking to one of my mates yesterday when this was ages ago. He went with his family to Nevada they went to Vegas, and he was like, we spent most of the time in the casinos. I put one foot outside and I was dying of heat, and I was like, ran back into the casino.
That is the trick of Vegas and Reno, anywhere there, because Nevada, most of it is. I mean, there's like little tiny towns all over, because we ranched in northern Nevada for certain parts, but it's like Vegas and Reno, they have their casinos and they're air conditioned and they just feel great. They've, you got your drinks and your buffets and they just keep you in there, because if they were anywhere else, that wouldn't work. Just keeping them stuck in the casinos. But yeah, it's the Great Basin. Oof.
Have you guys turned your air conditioners on yet?
Oh yeah, we've had ours on for a little.
Then I don't feel so guilty.
No. I mean, mine's been back and forth because we're still kind of in the honeymoon phase. We've had a couple days in the 80s, but it's been pretty chill and rainy, so I haven't had to worry. So I can do with just regular ceiling fan and regular fan without having to hit the AC. But yeah, we've had to turn it on a couple of times.
Ours is going to be on, and it's been on for at least a month and a half, and it is not coming off until October.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
That is just how it is here.
Thank you for making me feel less horrible about myself, because yesterday, in the dead of night, it was getting really, really humid. I'm like, I was looking at the air conditioner, it was looking back at me, and I'm like, okay, 1 hour, okay?
When I was growing up, we had a swamp
If I start
cooler.
sneezing, I'll get up and turn it off.
Yeah. We had a swamp cooler, and I mean, at the time when I was a kid, I was like, I will stand under here and just sit there. And then I go back home, and my parents have a swamp cooler. But after like central air, I'm like, oh, this makes me gross, and I hate it. But that was what we had. And now I'm like, central air, gimme, gimme, gimme.
Oh yes.
All right.
We ready to go?
Live.
Yep. Yes.
Oh, we live. We're talking about air conditioning.
Not yet.
We're just on Zoom. We're not live yet. So.
This is pre-show. We're good.
Okay. I'm like, hi everybody. This is how we roll, yo.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is why I so wanted to join, because I love kind of hanging out with y'all, because it's like it's so chill. It's fantastic.
Yeah. But we are live now.
All right.
Hello, Facebook.
Hi, everybody.
Howdy.
You can't see me, but I am here.
Yeah.
Me too.
You're like
We're all
Joe
here
at
the capacity of our technology is allowing us. So.
Okay.
So, but yeah, today is June 9th. Yesterday was our 11th anniversary of the show, as I fling my fork around because I have a cupcake. So you're all jealous, but sorry I can't give it to you via the interwebs. But so yeah, yesterday was our 11th anniversary, and this is our 500th episode.
Wowza.
I know.
I was just thinking about this morning as I was driving to work, and I was like, 500 episodes. How did we do this?
Congratulations, everybody. That's amazing. Rachel, I have to ask at this point, do you have
life? I don't
no, I actually have to ask though, Rachel, do you have all 500 episodes like saved, stashed away in some
in
vault?
various places? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've filled up a hard drive, move on to a new hard drive.
I was going to ask, how many external hard drives have you burnt up at this point?
About 3 or 4, I think.
That's like what?
Oh,
how
good.
many...
My guess was right. That's what I was.
Like what, like a terabyte per hard drive?
Well, yeah, I finally got to terabyte size.
You had to go to terabytes.
I was doing like 500.
Yeah, oh yeah,
that was filling up really quickly.
Wowie.
Yeah.
That doesn't even include our extra squeeze and our D&D ventures, if memory serves.
Exactly.
You have your own SFG Library of Congress, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that is just the podcast. So I mean, I did. Oh goodness, this had to have been back at like pre-pandemic. I think at one point I actually took the time to do the math and figure out like how many hours of show we had, and it was a lot, and that was pre-pandemic. So who knows?
Yeah, 11
what we've
years.
got
because
now.
we had
That was 5 years
3-hour
ago.
episodes in our early days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was a trip, but
Yeah.
yeah, I was, well, speaking of the whole our D&D adventures, I was cleaning out my desk downstairs, and I just have a bunch of just random crap, and I pull out this bumper sticker that says "I survived the Tomb of Horrors," and I'm like, Jared, why do you have this? And it's all branded, D&D, and he's like, no, it's because you did, because that you guys survived the Tomb of Horrors. That was
Yeah,
the
that's right.
adventure we did.
Yep.
And the
Yep.
thing, I was like, oh yeah. I could remember that was what it was. So I have that bumper sticker still, and he gave it to me to be like, look at you. And
He was like Jared was like, oh yeah, I'll teach you how to play D&D, and he was being all like super nice as our DM, and
yeah, and then it turns
letting
out,
us figure out things, and then he's like, okay, we're gonna wrap up this campaign, and it's like with the hardest
yeah,
thing in D&D history.
yeah, because it's meant for. He told me it's meant for like big conventions, so they have to whittle out the the scrubs, I guess. I suppose is how it goes, and like the people who aren't worth the time, I guess, because it's like, go big, go home, don't waste our time, sort of a thing, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not as well versed in D&D gaming convention stuff as I probably ought to be, but it was kind of funny that I'm like, oh,
I do have to pose a question to you guys, since I'm like the gate crasher here with an A, I suppose. So gate crasher, I suppose. But looking back on 11 years, I mean, I've had the privilege, of guesting on you guys' podcast, and love guesting with you guys. And thank you so much for allowing me to hang out.
I mean,
today.
the fact that we've known, like I've known you for
at least
almost
5
half
years
of
now.
that.
Yeah.
No, I have to pose a question to you guys, since I'm the outsider here looking in, and I guess going into journalist mode, as that's what I do. Looking back on these 11 years, do you guys have like a favorite episode or topic that you've talked about and is super, super memorable?
Oh boy.
Ooh. Actually, I do.
Okay.
I think my favorite one, well, okay, I have several favorites, but my absolute, I think in this moment, my favorite one is when we did the, fandom at your library. And that was we spun off of a presentation Rachel had done at a convention, and of course me as that's my professional life as a librarian, and like what your public library can do, and explaining all of these things and being able to geek out and like say, look, you can find this there, and you can do this, and you can do this, and there's all these, just all those things. And that was one that I just got really, really into. Not that I don't get into the other ones that we talk about. We've spanned a wide variety of topics, but I think that one for me.
For me, it
and
was,
also whenever I can do a con recap of Fan X or wherever I end up going.
For me, it was the episode where if we could make our own cons, like conventions, what would they be and what would they entail? That was a fun one.
Holly, that's my favorite too. I was gonna say.
You guys are stealing each other's answers.
Yeah.
Hey.
I mean,
after 11 years, you kind of know each other and what we're gonna pick sometimes.
I mean,
true.
I mean, there are some where, I was I always like when we have guests on, and we've been very fortunate for that to be the case, throughout all this time. Hopefully that continues. There's one guest that I literally have been trying to get for like almost the entire run of this podcast, and it's just not happening.
I think I know which one it is.
And y'all know who I'm talking about, so I don't want to say it out loud to anybody else because I don't want to jinx it. At this point, maybe putting it out into the universe would be better after all this time. If anyone has a good idea on how to lock down Ashley Eckstein for more than 30 seconds, please let me know. I've been back and forth, and like she keeps changing like representation, so I have to keep changing who I'm going to talk to try to lock this down. Oh my goodness,
She
it's
is a
been
busy lady.
Yeah, if they change,
It's-
if somebody changes publicist all the time, it can be a bit of
yeah. So it has been an absolute just like trying to herd cats to try to get Ashley locked down for this show. So, and I've even spoken to her directly, and she says she wants to do it. We just can't make it work.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
Oh, one of these days.
Yes.
It's not.
Eventually.
It's
Yeah.
not if, it's when.
When.
Well said.
Exactly.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I don't know, just like, I mean, it wasn't part of our actual show, but I really enjoyed us playing D&D during the the height of the pandemic.
Yep.
Um,
And major shout out to my in-laws at the time, because they would watch the kids, and Lottie was an infant. She was a tiny baby, and we went to them, and we were living with them at the time, so it worked. And we said, hey, can we want to do this, and if you could just keep an eye on the kids for an evening and let us do this. And they're like, oh yeah, sure. I mean, obviously it helped because one of them was a baby. I don't know if that request would go over so well now. But yeah, so they were troopers. They were awesome. So they were that was a big thing. And it was a good time. It was one of those things, during the pandemic, and everybody's got their pandemic story of, things that they did and what have you. But yeah, it's like that was sort of our, hey, we're gonna get through this, so let's do something fun and a little off the wall. And Jared had a good time with it, and yeah, he was like, I'll do another one for you, and I'm like, hey, we got, now we're not in the situation where like, hey, your mom and dad are just in the next room and they can take the kids downstairs and watch a movie. We'd have to actually plan this out, but as they get older, we might be able to do finagle something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so happy, but as I say, you never forget your first time, and I will never forget my first time when it came to being on the podcast with you guys when we discussed the Doctor Who movie, which was perfect.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Because we're all Whovians here, of course.
And
that's
what brought us all together.
Exactly. That's the impetus of the
Yep.
podcast. So I love the fact that I had the pleasure and honor of being able to hang out with you guys when we talked the Doctor Who movie, and that was a great time. And of course, I remember when Charles and I joined you guys to discuss Wonder Woman as well, which was fun. That was a great time as well. So always good times. It's and I'm so grateful to this podcast, I have to say, because of course today we're celebrating this podcast. So I'm super grateful to this podcast, I have to say, because one, if not, I would not have met all you wonderful people, and secondly, Rachel would not have been a co-host on Gold Standard with me, so I'm super grateful for that. And it all came through Holly, actually, because I think Holly and I hung out once again. It's all about Doctor Who. I think it was Next Stop Everywhere. I think it was Holly. And then you and I talked, and I think I wanted to have you on for Happiness and Darkness.
That's correct.
And then it kind of the whole cross-pollination thing happened, and then I came over to you guys. So it seems like Doctor Who kind of brings everybody together, which is a wonderful.
Yep.
Very, very much so. So yeah, and we were very fortunate. We've been very fortunate that the way this show started was online. That's how we all met. That's how this all started. So when things like the pandemic happened, I know so many other people in the podcasting space that were like, we can't get together. How are we going to make this work? And people are like, what are you guys doing? I'm like, we're doing the same thing we've always done. Nothing changed.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah. Because I remember thinking about that. I'm like, we were pandemic proof before it was even necessary.
The
way we met, and we're all in different places, different time zones. I mean, I had to basically take this whole past year off because of my son's bus schedule and getting him to school, and that affected my husband's work schedule. And by the time he got home from work, it was like bedtime for everyone on the East Coast. So it's kind of like, well, I'm sorry guys, But I jumped on when I could over the school year, and we'll see what this next school year comes up. But it's like I'm still part of it, and I still keep tabs on it, and still, we all just we're just kind of like, hey, we worked through it. All the life changes and things going on, moving and life events that we've all separately
Gone
had.
You guys were 6 years in when we started Gold Standard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah, because what Gold Standard? What is Gold Standard? What is our official anniversary? Was the 11th?
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep. The 11th of June.
Yeah. So 2 days from now, Gold Standard is going to be celebrating 5 years.
Yes.
So
That's the thing, is that you guys were 6 years in already when we started that podcast, and that was literally smack into the pandemic.
Yeah.
That was like,
I can't say I'll be celebrating with a cake. Then I'm going to celebrate Gold Standard's anniversary by getting my wrist cut into.
Woo!
Fun.
Yeah. Speedy, well wishes on that one.
Yeah.
Luck,
And
Rachel,
that is a
luck.
planned thing. That's a surgery. That's
Yes, it's carpal tunnel surgery. So no.
Yes.
Not terribly invasive, but it's just still surgery. So especially considering it's gonna be my right hand. And
I was going to say, so it's your right hand, not your left.
Yep. No. Although the left is probably going to need it in the next couple of years, but that won't be as much a hindrance because I'm not left-handed.
Right.
But yeah, that's just like, but I'm so ready for it to happen. At this point, it's like I'm so sick and tired.
I mean, if
like,
you can ameliorate your standard of life, by all means.
Yes, exactly. Especially right now, because I'm not supposed to take like any painkillers or anything.
Ooh.
So like I've got a headache and I can't take anything for it.
Oh, that stinks.
Yeah.
And here you are, we're talking about, well, this will be a good distraction.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
That's okay. They didn't the instructions they gave me didn't say I couldn't have cake. So
there you go.
That's
Let them eat cake.
Yeah. Okay.
The other day I was picking my kids up, and my father-in-law had taken the kids shop at the grocery store, and then he came back with, as often he does, a half dozen box of donuts, and they all had sprinkles. And one of their neighbors was there, and she was like, she's really sweet. My kids have kind of adopted her as another grandma. And I was like, look, I love sprinkles because sprinkles are good for morale. So that's what I tell people, and I finally got my husband to at least appreciate sprinkles are, even though they don't add any flavor, they're still fun and they're good for morale.
Now, speaking of sprinkles, as the dumb European that I am, that we're so deprived when it comes to all the wonderful sweets and everything else that you guys get over there. Yesterday, I was producing a podcast, and a question came up, which was, what was your favorite Pop-Tart? Now, we don't have Pop-Tarts over here, and I thought Pop-Tarts has ceased to exist. Because
they're still a thing.
I remember Pop-Tarts way back when I had a TV with the antenna, and I was watching like Saved by the Bell and this kind of stuff. I was able to catch these kind of shows through some random channel which no longer exists. And I thought the Pop-Tarts no longer existed. And I was like, Pop-Tarts are still a thing?
Yes.
And there's like 5 million flavors now. It's a thing. Like back in our day,
seasonal ones. They're seasonal ones too.
You had just like the strawberry, the blueberry, and like the chocolate, and that was kind of it. You had your option. You had your option of frosted or not frosted. So at most you had like 6 boxes to pick from. Now it's all like, they do like specialty
There's like a half
flavors.
of an aisle dedicated in the grocery
I'm
stores.
gonna have to commission one of you to send me Pop-Tarts. I'll pay as many tariffs as I have to on it. I want Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, Pop-Tarts, that was, between those and granola bars, that is how I survived college, because I'm like, I am not rolling out of bed before 7 o'clock. I am not making a full-on breakfast, but I gotta eat something before I go to class.
Yep.
And that's like,
and Pop-Tarts are a little cheaper than the toaster strudels. Let's just put it that way.
I totally want Pop-Tarts now.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd eat them cold. I just throw them in the bag and eat them. Like, I got to rush.
Yeah, you don't even have to pop them in the toaster. It's just open
No, you don't. They're better in the
Um,
toaster, but you can eat them
yeah.
cold and it's fine.
Yep.
Now, are ring pops still a thing?
Yes, ring
Yes.
pops
Yes.
are absolutely a thing.
Jeez,
My
all those
daughter-
old commercials
And,
that
and
stuff still
the
exists.
little baby bottle sucker type things, those are still around
Yes.
too.
I am
Yes.
amazed.
Yep, my daughter, she loves when she leaves Papa's house, she always has to get a sucker. Well, she just chomps them and they're gone. Well, she gets a ring pop, and that is the holy grail of sweets for her.
Yeah,
Like, I
I
got a
definitely
ring
have
pop,
to
Mom.
stash. I mean, because I don't know if I'll be able to visit the States anytime soon for reasons we won't talk about. But I remember when this friend of my mother's came over and he brought like all this box of everything from the States. There was ring pops in it, and there was Pop Tarts, and there was fruit roll-ups and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, I'm amazed this stuff still exists in the States, because that was just like, a fad at the time, because obviously watching commercials from American TV way back when.
It's funny the stuff that like has stuck around. I mean, maybe this is an episode idea, is like, because I've seen several YouTube videos along this line of like, things we remember from our childhood that don't exist, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. Like, you don't think about it until somebody reminds you of it, and you're like, oh yeah, but then you're like, okay, I'll tell you. One of my favorite candy bars growing up was called Whatchamacallit, and I could never say it as a kid. I like called it whatever they called it in the jingle in the commercial, and for a long time I thought they were just gone. And this was after I got married, and Jared came home, and he, for some reason, he had one. I can't remember why, and I was like, there's a Whatchamacallit, and he's like, yes. I'm like, I thought they quit making those, and they're like, I wouldn't call it my favorite, but it's one of those things, like, it was always my favorite thing. My grandma worked at the drugstore in our little town, and they had them, and I would get them when I'd go see her after, when she was working. That was just, or I'd get them at the grocery store, and that was my favorite thing. And I was like so happy they still made them, but I hadn't thought of them in years just because I hadn't. And here it was, my childhood in a candy wrapper.
But like Three Musketeers have changed now, right?
They're smaller.
Most things are nowadays.
Yeah,
the recipe hasn't changed too much, but they are real hard to find, the regular size bars.
Yeah,
you only can find them in like the ones that you hand out for Halloween.
The mini ones, yeah.
The mini ones in the bag, and even those are hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're really sought after. They're very rare.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I like them, and my mom likes them, and sometimes we have the hardest time finding them, and then this is like, we have to make a note to ourselves, like, okay, this store has them, and then it's just like, if they're gone, it's like, okay, we're gonna have to try to find another spot.
Yep.
Yeah, Three Musketeers are all. I love Three Musketeers.
There's just something about that whipped center that's good.
Amen.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for them to properly, because they've tried to release something that they claim is this, but it's not the same. I am waiting for them to properly bring back 3D Doritos.
Those, and I'm waiting for them to properly bring back the peanut butter Twix. I'm not talking about the peanut butter Twix with the chocolate cookie. I'm talking about the peanut butter Twix with the vanilla cookie.
Yes. The
Like
chocolate cookie just doesn't land the same.
No, it
like,
doesn't. It's the vanilla cookie. There's just something with that ratio of the chocolate, the peanut butter, and that white, that vanilla cookie that did it.
There is something to having it. Yeah, it's like, come on, guys, you still have the caramel in the Twix. Just replace the caramel with the peanut butter. That's it.
Yes.
It's not that hard.
It's not that hard to do. One would think.
Yeah.
No, they're too busy. They're too busy fighting over right Twix, left Twix.
Right.
I'm like, it's just Twix, just whatever. Although the sea salt Twix is quite good. If you haven't,
that's good to know.
Sea salt caramel.
I do
know.
love sea salt caramel, so I'm gonna try that. I don't think I have.
I tried the cookie dough because I usually love most everything cookie dough, and I did not.
The cookie dough is like, it
didn't land.
I didn't love it, but
it did not land.
Was it the texture of the cookie dough?
I just think
didn't do it for you?
I just think that the outer coating it just overpowered everything.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it's
okay.
not. You can't really taste the cookie dough in
Okay.
it. It's just sort of it's nougat with the the chocolate chips. I'm using air
Yeah.
quotes. You can't see these, but it's like.
And considering the size of the candy bar, that means that the chocolate chips are like the size of a
Yeah,
the
yeah.
tip of a pencil. So
So
It's like
basically,
you
chocolate
tried.
shavings.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like you tried. God bless you, you tried.
I guess this is now the Fiveish Foodies podcast.
I guess so.
Right?
We got talking about all our favorite candy and treats and sweets and things. Because
somewhere Lou Mangello is smiling.
Yes, yes,
Right.
that's what I was about to say. Yes, our quote, not official top 10 of candies.
Yeah.
But then there was this one flavor I discovered because there was a time when I was like eating these energy bars and they were coming from the States, and I don't grenade bars, I think they were called. And
Okay.
I discovered birthday cake flavor. I'm like, what is a birthday flavor?
Okay, birthday cake is
And
basically.
I had it. It was really
a
nice, but I
lot-
did not know the birthday cake flavor was a thing.
Yeah, birthday cake flavor is basically just a lot of vanilla flavoring.
And sprinkles.
So,
And
and
sprinkles.
sprinkles. So it's
That's
a
what it
sprinkle,
was.
so good for morale. But yeah, because a big thing around here is if you mixing flavors in soda, like at the gas station or wherever, I don't know. And if you put enough, there's a mix at our gas station locally here is called Maverick, and they have like mixology, and you can put all these things in. And if you want a birthday cake flavored Coke or Dr. Pepper or whatever root beer, you put like 3 pumps of vanilla flavoring and some coffee creamer, and there's your birthday cake soda.
Nice.
Which, if that's, I mean,
if that's your thing,
opposed to it, I think that's a little much.
I mean, vanilla Coke is already a thing.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
the creamer. You got to put the creamer in.
it's made its way
That's
to
what
Italy.
makes it.
Well, we actually have vanilla Coke now. I'm like, wow, it took us 100 years, but we got there.
Yes, we did.
Oh my.
Jerky is still slow, but hopefully eventually we'll get there.
We have to start doing like care packages for you,
Just,
Nick.
yes.
I was thinking the same.
We are so first world problems, I know, but we are so deprived over here in Italy. When it
Well,
comes to certain food items.
Nick, I will tell you this. So many years ago, when I was doing my graduate program, I did well, they called it study abroad. I was only there for a week and a half, and I went to Serbia, which was a good time. I loved it. It was great. I discovered orange Fanta, which we have Fanta here, but it's a little too sugary. And but in Europe, when I got the orange soda, orange Fanta, I was like, you guys, this is a revelation.
This was same for me in Spain, Chrissy.
Yeah.
Same for me in
They
Spain.
changed
And I've tried to
the
do it
flavor
like
slightly.
with the diet version, and it's close. It comes close with the diet version here, but it's not quite the same. There's something they put in it or don't put in it, and it's a little more.
It doesn't have that crisp bite.
Yeah, it's got
that you're used to.
And so don't feel too bad for us because you've got that delicious orange Fanta.
Yeah,
I guess. Oh, good times.
It's like having soda in Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
because
I had
when you were in Spain, what did you experience in Spain?
the whole gamut, because I spent 5 months over there as part of my university schooling. So I stayed with the host family. I was in the center of Spain, Valladolid, not too far away from Madrid, Barcelona, and that. But I mean, I tried basically whatever food dish they put in front of me, I tried it. So I fell in love. The only thing I didn't care for too much was chickpeas or garbanzo beans. Towards the end, one of my roommates that I had, she just had a love for them, and it was just like, okay.
Not my thing.
Eat them in moderation. Now I can eat them again, but at that time I was like, okay, if I ever see another garbanzo bean.
So how do you feel about hummus?
Hummus, that'll eat. I know what that is. Hey, it's
good. It's so
good. It's so good, and it's broken down. It's mashed up. So I'm fine. We're talking the whole garbanzo bean. That was after a while, it was just like, even my host said a couple of times, it's like, he would even say, and he would say it sarcastically, like, "Hello, garbanzo beans. It's been a long time since I've seen you last," and it was just the day before. And my host mom was like, "Okay, you two can eat as little or as much as you want. We'll save it
I am
for.
not going to participate.
We'll save it for roommate."
I mean, do you guys have like kebab places, like sort of Turkish or like Arab ones, with like where you have the whole kebab like wrapped up in like almost like a pierogi, I suppose you could call it, where you have like basically there's the dude who kind of like cuts the meat from this rotating thing, which is like a mixture of chicken and lamb and what have you. And you pop it into like your, it's like a pita almost rather than a pierogi.
Yeah.
And then they slap on yogurt and spicy sauce and onions. You guys have that in the States?
Yeah.
There's
I know there's a
restaurants that
couple.
have it,
I know there's a couple places where I went to school. They've got something very close to it, and then I'm sure probably like down in the Milwaukee, Green Bay area, there's
where you have more of an Arab population, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I know there's some places in just outside of downtown Salt Lake that are like, they have those kinds of restaurants. I haven't actually been to them because it's like it's one of those things like I will get there eventually.
It's really good. I highly recommend it. That's what I had last night. It was really, really good.
Okay. Yeah, because I've seen him advertised. I'm like, I need to try that. But we have a lot of Indian food, Indian restaurants that I was introduced to when Jared and I were first dating, and I'm like, oh gosh, this is actually really good. And I for a long time I thought I don't do spicy. I am like the stereotypical, I can't white girl can't do spicy all that well.
Rachel knows I miss a good curry. She knows this.
Yeah, but then like I gotta find the right curry, and I'm like, okay, this is heaven. This is great. But yeah, it's like you have a good naan. Oh,
it's very soulful.
I love
food.
naan.
It's very soulful.
It's just everything
food.
that goes with it.
Yep. Yeah, it's like I gotta have just this the right amount. We're good.
Hey.
So yeah, we've got a lot of different kinds of places that yeah. Also, kebab, Indian food, Thai food. There's one place near where Jared used to work that's really good Korean barbecue.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, we've got one of those Korean hot pot barbecue places.
Oh,
where
nice.
It's like you have the grill like it's built into your table, and you grill some meat right there. Oh, so good.
Times.
You can also do like your own bowl of like noodles and
like
and
the
stuff,
ramen or
like
the
your own ramen. So I can't I've done the ramen thing a couple of times. Chauncey and I went to last time we were in San Francisco, we went to their I guess their equivalent of Little Japan. And we went to a restaurant to eat. And I did my best to get through, but there's something about the ramen that I just I end up wearing most of it instead of actually eating it. I cannot seem to get it into my mouth.
Were you using chopsticks or were you using like a spoon?
Both.
Both. Oh boy.
Yeah, I can't.
But for the life of me, I just could not. I end up wearing most of it. So
I'm more of a spoon person because I know I don't have the dexterity.
Yeah, I can't use chopsticks.
No.
Yeah. So last year,
even with the rubber band trick, I'm still.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a drummer, for crying out loud, and I can't handle chopsticks.
So funny story. Last year when I was doing the anime convention for teens with my library, I was on the committee. So obviously we got to be there. Well, we have food trucks come during the 2 days we were there. One of them was a ramen food truck, and and like we have them parked out in the amphitheater, and they got tables and all that stuff. So it's not like I'm standing there eating the ramen by my standing up or anything. I'm at a table eating it, and I had a fork, I had the napkins. I like had to plaster napkins like all over, like, you know, like a bib, like I'm a little kid.
You're not
It
alone.
was so good though. It was great, and I'm like, this is worth it. I don't care. I don't
Right?
care what these
Yeah,
teenagers.
Chauncey's like, you need to finish it. It's rude if you don't finish it all. And I'm like, I'm trying, but I'm drowning in it.
Well,
Yeah,
there is a rule over here. I don't know if you guys get the same thing when it comes to all you can eat places, where if you don't finish what's on your plate, you have to pay for it.
I've not heard of that.
I haven't heard of that either.
I have to
It's
say,
like usually it's like sushi places,
Okay.
or which are what place, you know, I'm a big fan of sushi, and so there is this thing. It's all you can eat, so obviously you pay a fixed price. Obviously, you have to, if you buy alcoholic beverages, you have to pay those extra, obviously.
Mhm.
But the thing is, if you order stuff and you don't finish your order, they have you pay extra for it. And in fact, there've been crazy stories of people like literally piling stuff either into their lap or something and throwing it into the bathroom or something, so they don't have to pay for it. But yeah, that's the rule. Is that if you have to fit, and it's literally stated on the menu, whatever you order, you have to finish, which I think is good because it's not a waste of food.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess my question is, do you guys not have like doggy bags? Like I ordered this, I'm not gonna finish it, but I'm gonna take it home and have it for lunch tomorrow.
They carry those in certain places. In
Okay.
certain things like they've recently introduced that because I think once again, because you don't want to waste food. So
Right.
they do have that now. They're starting to introduce that concept of doggy bags. In fact, I remember when my head of PR was actually from Minnesota, we went to this one place. I took her out for dinner and we went to this one place, and she was like, "This is so good, but I can't finish it." And she's like, "Can we do a doggy bag thing?" We asked the waitress or whatever. She's like, yeah, you can do that, no worries. And that they've been doing that. What is interesting is nowadays, and I was actually talking about this with my mother about this, is in restaurants, usually over here in Italy, you will sit down in a restaurant and you will automatically have a bread basket, or rather thing with like bread in it, because we're big people.
Yep.
Now they don't do that anymore. They literally,
because you'd fill up on the bread first.
Yep.
Yeah, they now literally bring you a bag with the bread in it. So I wonder, I guess once again, maybe it's because of waste, or I don't know, but or they're like, don't eat your bread because you won't have any room for dinner. Granted, you know, because obviously the restaurant loses money on that. But these days they bring you a bag before you would, or maybe it's hygiene possibly as well, because maybe the bread is not as fresh. So what they do on your table, you have literally a centerpiece with your bread in it. So to have bread and all sorts of breadsticks and everything else. Now they don't do that anymore. They literally throw you a bag, like, get on with it.
Yeah. And then you know, in the little town where my parents live, we went and visited them last weekend, and the Mexican restaurant there, they're like, we went and go sit down, like, here, have a bowl of chips and salsa. So we filled up on that before. Now, yeah, they're like, here, you know, it's part of the experience, is you have your bread, your chips or whatever that you're having, and then if you don't finish, well, then you take that home, and like I said, that's lunch for tomorrow.
Yeah, because my brother-in-law literally embarrassed us when we were in the States, because that's what he does. But anyways, we were in St. Louis, Missouri, and we were at a restaurant, and he's a Southern Italian. And Southern Italians are all about bread on the table. There was no bread on the table. It's like, why isn't there bread on the table? And so what did he do? He got up, went into the kitchens.
Oh no. Oh no.
He's like, why isn't there bread on the table? Like, do you mean like a sandwich? Like, no, just regular bread. I'm like, Fabio, this is America. It's not Italy, please. In the end, he literally came out and they said, do you want us to cut you a roll of bread? It's like, okay, fine. They literally cut a roll of bread for it because he was just not used to not seeing bread on the table.
That sounds like, I will cut you, you know, talk to a toddler. I will cut you a roll so you can have bread.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, my sister was so embarrassed, like, I can't believe my husband is doing this, but that's what happened.
I mean, a lot of places here, like if bread is a thing, it's not just the bread. It's usually like, you know, like our Italian restaurants, yeah, they tend to be like garlic, butter and garlic. They're usually good for, like, you know, if you've got a dish with a lot of sauce, you can, it helps to sop up the sauce. In other places, they're rolls. So you usually get like butter.
Right.
Here in the Midwest, it's usually cinnamon butter, actually.
Right.
If you
Depending
go to
on
like a
the
Texas Roadhouse or something like
yep.
that, where but those are just little clouds of just
or if
divine
you happen to go to a
carb.
certain seafood
Give it
place
to me
with
now.
their biscuits.
Yeah, the cheddar biscuits.
biscuits.
R.I.P.
Well, they're
Red
still there,
Lobster.
but not as what they used to be.
Yeah.
No. Although then they started selling the mixes in the grocery store, so you could make the biscuits at home if you want.
Now they even have ones that are pre-made that you can heat up in the oven in the freezer sections. Yeah,
Even better.
I tried. I just bought one box because a little on the pricey side. I'm just like just to try it. Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah. Because usually it's just something to like keep your hands busy, I think. Because you're waiting on the person to come bring your drinks and then take your order. And
that was always the thing when I was a kid. It's like I like going out to eat, but it takes so long for my food to get here. So, when you're a kid, they give you crayons. When you're an adult, they give you bread or something to fill up on before your food actually gets there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, so this has been our 500th episode, and we've been talking all about food.
500 different types of food.
Right?
I know.
This is why I love hanging out with you guys and crashing your parties. This is why I love it.
We are some of the most random podcast people. Sometimes I'm like, do people even enjoy listening to us ramble about nothing?
I do. I certainly do.
Nick is a fan.
Yeah, you guys keep me company every now and then when I go grocery shopping, and you guys like as I said, I've often been big to the crazy person because like you guys make a joke and I laugh out loud. I'm like, ha! When I'm picking up something like, you need help?
It's like I'm in the produce and laughing about this thing. And
I'm like passing and I'm like scanning my items and I suddenly burst out laughing like, okay, we're just going to walk away very slowly.
Yeah.
Don't make any sudden
like,
moves.
sir, is everything okay?
Like, it's okay. It's just my friends.
I'm like, I've got headphones on. I hear voices.
Hey, at least you've got headphones on. I've noticed this thing where people just now they're like, oh, I can watch my video, and so everybody can hear it. And I'm like,
yes.
So annoying.
And sometimes annoying. It's just like, and sometimes what they're watching and listening to, I'm like, okay, it like, was just me and one other person.
In public? There are children here.
Yes. I was thinking to myself, I was like, you're lucky that nobody else has walked in yet. And it's like earbuds, headphones. Don't get to that.
So yeah, I think a matter of respect as well.
That
in a sense, just plug in your earphones. Like maybe somebody's got not feeling well, or like has I don't know, maybe in my case has a hangover and doesn't want to hear loud noises early in the morning. But yeah, it was like it happens all the time over here. Like on often on like a subway ride or on a train ride or whatever. You have somebody that the volume is like to 100. I'm like, dude, get some headphones. I don't want to hear it. Or it's like a private conversation and they're listening to their vocal messages from somebody. It's like, hi, honey, can you pick up some milk and some eggs? I'm like, I don't want to know.
So I'll tell you a library story. And this has happened multiple times. So I'm not picking on just one person or anything like that. So at my library, at all the libraries in my system, every library branch has a courtesy phone, and the courtesy phone is always near the information desk. And everybody puts a sign up to the effect of please keep your conversation short and keep it down, but here's
silence in the library.
Yeah. Something like that. Well, and in my library, we have these really high ceilings because somebody thought it would be a great idea to build a library with a big metal ceiling that carries every sound everywhere. And it is shaped, quick detour. It is shaped, so it's curved. And then on the other side of the street, there is an old barn where they do like people can rent it out for events, so like weddings and stuff. one time there was somebody, they were playing music out at the barn because they were having a dance, they're having a wedding reception, having a party, they totally can. But it sounded like it was coming in through our speakers, and people were like, why are you guys playing music in the library? I'm like, we are not. It's picking up the music from the wedding across the
Wow.
street.
Party time in
Acoustics
the
in that
library.
place.
But anyway, so going back to my phone thing. So we will have people, and I recognize there are people who are in really hard situations. Maybe they don't have a phone, don't have a way to contact anybody, or they don't have their own, so they use our courtesy phone. And I have heard some of the most they uncomfortable, shall we say, conversations while I'm sitting at the reference desk. And I'm like, do you really want people knowing about your court case, your divorce, your something? They're trying to call people like 2 cities over about some legal thing, or trying to get a hold of their lawyer, or trying all these things, and I am just like, and then I was talking to Jared about that, and he said, he's like, this is what you should do, because apparently somebody at a library he worked at did this several years ago. She would sit there with like a legal pad and paper and like write down everything the person was saying, like their side of the conversation. And then when they were done with their phone call, take the paper, hand it to them, and said, hey, I could hear everything you just said, so here's a copy of your phone call. And I'm like, I don't think I have the balls to do that, but that's actually kind of amazing.
Yeah.
So
are they related to the parents when they call to let me know that their kids are going to be absent for school, that they make sure to tell me exactly how their kid is sick? Instead of just saying, my kid is sick, they won't be in school today.
You get all those lovely details that you don't want.
Yeah.
When I have to call my kid, when I have to say Alex is sick, I just say, look, he's not feeling good. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like,
that's it. That's all I need to know, is they're just out because they're sick.
The rest is TMI.
The
Exactly.
rest is so
Exactly.
TMI. It's like, and it's, with the little kids, they're not going to know.
Right.
But I'm in a high school. These are teenagers. If they knew half of the information that their parents are telling a complete stranger,
they die of embarrassment.
They would die of embarrassment. It's like, how many of you are, it's that time of the month because you have that particular plumbing? How many of you have gastrointestinal issues and have it coming out of one end or the other?
We don't need to know what
the only time
Tim's
where I
is.
might need to know specifically what is wrong with your student is if it's an injury and they're going to require accommodations, like, hey, my kid's on crutches or moving slowly. Could you maybe let them in the front door a couple of minutes early to get a head start? That sort of thing, yes. Yeah. I totally get, but it's like, I do not need to know.
Timmy had a bowel movement. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I do not need to know which one of y'all are vomiting or whatever.
Even when Alex, this past year, he had to go in and he had to get some dental work done, and he had to be put under to do it. Even that, I was like, I don't feel comfortable telling his teacher, the school, like, I don't need to know that. But, I mean, but even so, I'm like, well, it's kind of a surgical thing, and I'm like, oh, he's just getting some dental work done, and he's got to be
right
for it.
That's
So, but even that, I was like, I just can't imagine a parent would be like, I need to tell everybody my son is whatever.
No, they do. They absolutely feel like they need to
or
let
heaven forbid
know.
they use the nickname for their kid that you find out that kid does not want to know, and as soon as they walk in the office, like, I wonder if they know that I know this. Let me use that against you.
Yeah. I mean, the moms that are like, I need to pick up my kiddo. I'm like, ma'am, your son is 16. I don't think he wants to be called kiddo.
Yeah.
Unless we're talking about Kill Bill here, I don't think the name kiddo needs to be involved anywhere.
Yeah.
Now, kiddo is about the tamest one I've heard, and we won't go there, but yeah, I'm like, teenage that phase of life, it's hard enough. Let's not make it harder on them. Of course, they make it pretty hard on themselves anyway.
Oh yeah.
That doesn't justify me telling a complete stranger when your kid has been, like, sitting on the toilet all night, and that's why they're not coming to school.
Right, yeah.
Well, maybe they figure, oh, the office staff won't tell. Their
Well,
friends.
no, I'm not. But at the same time, it's
But at
like
the
I
same
don't
time,
know if
you
they
don't
feel
need
like
to know about it.
I'm like I don't know if they feel like they need to justify. Like, if I just say my
So,
kid's sick, are they really gonna believe me? So I have to
Right.
like
You
give
have
them
to tell 'em
symptoms
all
or
the
something. It's
things.
like, no, I
Or unless they know that they were treading the fine line for how many number of absences before that they would need a doctor's excuse. Maybe
That's a
that's
good point.
why
Yeah.
they're trying to
Well,
but even then,
overshare.
even then, telling me what exactly your kid is suffering from is not going to make a difference.
at
Right.
that point, it's like, well, give me the doctor's note.
I was
And
just
the
going to
Right.
say, isn't
Yeah.
that
can
between
share what
you and the school
information
doctor
is,
or school doctor's office?
No, because even the nurse doesn't need to know unless it's something that's going to affect the kid's ability to be able to attend school.
Yeah.
Right. Or if it's, I guess it's contagious or whatever it is.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but if it's
But
Yeah,
otherwise,
you
yeah,
gotta
no,
go.
I don't need to know. I don't want to know.
No.
But yeah, so
Granted, most of these kids, I don't know who they are, and I wouldn't know if they came up and, pop me on the nose, but some of them I do.
yeah.
Right. Well, I guess at this point.
And I have to be able to look at them and just be
Right.
like,
Oh, you're the
You do-
guy with the thingy. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're the gal that's got this going on.
Mhm. You're the kid that had to have that thing
You
removed.
had a groin strain. Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, those
Patient
poor,
zero. Hi, how you doing?
oh,
Yeah.
those poor kids.
Oh yeah.
Growing up is hard enough sometimes,
It is. I'll tell you what. The way some things change, some things don't.
No.
Yeah,
Yep.
the more things change, the more they stay the same.
The same.
Exactly,
So I do
yeah.
have to say we were kind of lucky that we grew up before the cameras and technology for
Yes. Oh,
sharing.
Mhm.
Before the
stuff.
social media stuff. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
one, the fact that I don't know, we're all these kids have to deal with like social media and like you can't leave school at school, it all like follows
Right.
you around, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that
somebody's
sounds
going to
like
make an
hell.
Instagram reel about it or a story on TikTok,
Mhm.
what have you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were blessed to not have that. Yeah, like you said,
Exactly.
you left the schoolyard behind you once you got home.
Yep.
I'm just like, no. It's like and like you had a life that wasn't on on the computer. Like you didn't have to be. I feel like these kids, they have to be attached to it, not because they want to do necessarily, but they have to, like, they got to know what's going on, because if something happens and they get dragged into it, or their friend gets dragged into it,
Oh, true.
then they have to be on. It's like you're on call all the time, and I'm like,
Yep.
that's exhausting.
I feel like that sometimes. I'll see these students that are like on their phone, and I'm like, y'all are in school. Who are you talking to?
Right.
Right?
It's true.
Like,
I mean,
your
Chrissy,
parents better
Chris,
not be
you can
texting
you can get this because you have young children and what have you.
Mhm.
Speaking of, it's insane how now it's like imprinted into the current generation. I'm sounding like a boomer, but I know, but whatever. But my 4-year-old niece,
Mhm.
she can handle YouTube better than I can.
My
I
son,
literally give her because she wants to watch,
Mhm.
Gabby's house or whatever it is, and
Yep.
I literally put the tablet in front of her. I put on YouTube. She's moving her fingers like at lightning speed, like she can
Yep.
make the image bigger, turn off the subtitles, lower the volume. Like, you're 4 years old. How the hell are you doing this?
Both of my kids, they know what to do. They know how this works. And if I like make a mistake, or if I get it wrong, they're like, no, Mom. And then my son, who he has autism, and so that kind of adds another layer of, Mom, you're doing this wrong. I know what to do. But then when it does something that he's not expecting it to do, because of I don't know whatever reason, and then he just melts down because I'm like, I don't know how this works, and I'm like, and I am like, Nick, I am totally, I just turned 40, so I am like embracing my grumpy old lady phase of life.
I mean, I said,
kids get off my lawn
here, so I'm already an old man, so I'm already yelling at kids to get off my lawn.
Yes, so I'm just like, shut up, but no, like
I mean,
my
just
kids are like. Alex will be playing something in like Minecraft. I know nothing about Minecraft. I know the kids love it, and I don't have a problem with it because it's one of those games. It's like you are creating, you are like problem solving. You're working on these things because it's just a big sandbox. But if something's not working in Minecraft and he hands me, because we have it on the Switch, and I'm like, dude, I don't know what this is. Like my husband can help him because he kind of knows a little bit more than I do, and I'm not, you know, an anti-gamer Philistine or by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't know Minecraft all that well.
Right.
And then,
but just how well these kids know their way around smartphones and tablets. Their fingers fly across the screen.
I have to keep an eye on because there are some videos that Alex will find, and I'm like, I don't want you finding that. And like he can do YouTube in the living room where everybody can see it. We're walking back and forth. And if I see or hear anything, then I'm like, nope, you're going back to YouTube Kids, which I would prefer to be on YouTube Kids. But that's not where all the Mario videos are.
Right.
More power
or
to
the Minecraft videos.
Like, when I gave my niece my tablet, I'm like, did I delete my internet history? You know.
Oh boy.
And he's on like an alternate YouTube account I have that I do have some control over, and I can do certain things. So yes, I have been very judicious in the parental locks and all that stuff. But stuff still slips through, and so I just got.
Oh yeah.
But no, he's a good kid. But yeah, it's like they are like the way that we all worked the VCR and
exactly. I was just about to say that.
Like, hey, this works. I know how this works.
Here's the remote. Reprogram. Reset the clock. Program it to tape something
on the TV or whatever. No, that's them. They are.
Yeah.
And like when I explain to them, like. So Lottie, so we have a ton of DVDs and Blu-rays because like we're like physical media, we're hanging on to it because
it's the way to go.
Is not reliable, or it's not permanent. So we have all these. So Lottie, the other day, I have the entire series of the Powerpuff Girls on DVD because I bought it several years ago.
Nice.
That was my show when I was a kid, or well, I guess I'd be in middle school. But I loved it, the original one. So I've been showing it to Lottie. And then one day Lottie's like, Mommy, can we put the circles in and play Powerpuff Girls? I'm like, the circles of Powerpuff Girls? Yeah, those shiny circles. And I'm like, the DVDs? Yeah, that one. I'm like, oh gosh.
I'm just waiting for the day when I'm a doddering old man and my niece will be a grown woman and will tell me, Uncle, this is how this works. You know?
Yes. It's like whatever microchip they've implanted here, plug this into your side of your head and you can download, and there it is in your head. Like they did it Back to the Future.
I'm just waiting for that moment for when my niece is a grown woman and she's teaching her aged uncle how things work.
I can still remember this is before I got my full-time teaching job, but I was instructional aide at the high school in a science class, and they still had a Laserdisc player, and there was some content that the teacher wanted to show, and it was on Laserdisc. And I mean, he made a big show of pulling that thing out. I forgot how big those Laserdiscs were. I mean, they're about the size of a cymbal. And the kid was like, what in the heck is that? And like, that's a Laserdisc. That was before DVDs.
Like,
it's like, and don't get me started on beta and VHS. And they're like, what's that? And it's like, story for another time. Story for another time.
And then there's like all this, it's all circular because like vinyl
right,
come back. And then like, because I'll walk in like Walmart or Target, and there's just like they don't have a ton of CDs, but here's all the vinyl of Taylor Swift, and all the others, and I'm like, okay.
That's exactly it. It's like think of media when we're much older and they get exposed to this kind of stuff. It's like I'm imagining once again my niece watching Iron Man for the first time, which is like, I don't know, 50 or 60. Like, oh, this is what you got. You were so excited over when you were whatever age. I'm like, yeah, and she was like, and she'd be like, maybe lame, you know. It's like, it's like when we watch classic Superman now, it's like, they really tried, you know.
Oh, well, with Superman, it's like they really haven't been able to get it quite right since then. So
true,
you know.
True. But I'm just imagining Iron Man, like, 30, 40 years from now, and everyone's like,
well,
this
and
is
just
what we enjoyed when we were your age or whatever.
and it's just mind-boggling that the Beatles later on might be considered classical music, which I don't mind. But it's just wow.
I mean, already Taylor Swift will probably be considered classic music by then.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
I mean, I saw a screenshot someone put up of Blink 182 apparently is considered oldies.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go die now.
But yeah, but then you maybe might have those. I mean, if you have maybe bands that carry on for whatever, you might have that connection. I mean, it's like I remember when I still love him tons, Alice Cooper, and I was telling my dad, oh, the latest Alice Cooper album came out. And my dad looked at me and goes, I was listening to Alice Cooper before you were even born. So I'm like, oh. He started singing Schools Out to me, and I'm like, oh, that's right. I wasn't alive when this happened. Okay, I'm going to go with it. Yeah. It was the same with Black Sabbath. I was listening to Black Sabbath, and my mom came in like, you're listening to Sabbath? I'm like, Mom, you know Sabbath? It's like, of course, I had the vinyl. I'm like, okay, fine, sorry.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, sometimes those things you find out. Yeah.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Or I'm finally starting to figure out what songs are my mom's favorite Beatles songs when we're on road trips, because I usually listen to the Beatles. We have satellite radio, so we usually listen to the Beatles station. And every now and again, I'll see her hand go over, turn up the volume. I'm like, okay, you like that one. Good to know.
Like noted.
Yes.
What's your mom's favorite Beatles album, Holly? Does she have a favorite album?
I don't know if she does. I'll have to ask her. I'm not sure if she has one in particular, but I think it might be one of the later ones, because like the Let It Be or Abbey Road, because every now and again when two of us starts playing, that gets turned up. So I'm thinking she's probably towards the later. And I mean, there's some earlier stuff that she'll turn up the volume to, but that one almost every time, that one's okay.
Or you have the opposite phenomenon of older people getting into music that was like hip 35 years ago. Like my dad recently discovered Sheryl Crow. I'm like, Dad, she's been around for a while.
So
this Sheryl Crow girl, is she still going? Like, kinda, sorta, but she's not like that anymore. Another big one of his is what's her face now? Martina McBride.
Yeah.
And he's like, have you interviewed Martina McBride? I'm like, Dad, I haven't, because she's kind of still touring, but she's not as doing her thing anymore. My father fell in love with Martina McBride. Now it's all about Martina McBride. And George Strait is another one, because he was like, oh, this dude who's singing. He's like, I said, Dad, that's George Strait. He's like,
good luck getting that
legend in country
music.
I was like, oh, is he still going? Like, yeah, he's not. Doesn't look like that anymore, but he's still going.
Actually, he left and came back.
Yeah.
So funny story about George.
There is so
My
ahead, Chrissy.
aunt. So my aunt is about 15 years older than me, and she was like my favorite. And like when I was little, so they were still like in high school when I was little. So we go around with her, and she had all the George Strait stuff, all this. She just had. I think to this day she still has the biggest crush on George Strait. She's like, he's my freebie if he ever comes. And I'm like, Aunt Paula, I don't think George Strait is gonna come and want.
Well, he's a good looking dude. I'll give him that.
She's gonna have to fight my mom.
Yeah, I'm serious. But no, I actually have a really funny story about older people discovering bands that were like contemporary when I was young. So my dad, well, both my parents, but my dad really loves the show The Big Bang Theory. And that's kind of like how I explain all my geek stuff to him. But I mean, he knows Star Trek. Like Star Trek was his thing. Star Trek and Star Wars, but all the other stuff. So it's like, it's how we communicate. It's like, remember that episode when Sheldon did the thing and blah, 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 whatever. So, so my dad, he's like, I just found this amazing song by this band and it was Be My Yoko Ono, and it was by the Bare Naked Ladies, and they also sang the song. And like, have you heard of them? I'm like, Dad, they were
did
like,
the theme
they were
song.
doing brand new stuff. The theme song for Big Bang Theory, they were on the radio when I was in high school.
You're a little late to the party, yes.
I'm like, Dad, I know exactly who they are, and he's like, I know the name sound is a little bit offensive. I'm like, Dad, that was the joke.
Yeah.
Is there
Like,
not
do you not
offensive
know
at all?
how many times the music video for 1 week would play on VH1 and MTV?
Exactly. Exactly. I have the greatest hits album. It's like, come on, Dad. Like, we're here now, man. Just like, it was just so funny. He's trying to explain to me who Bare Naked Ladies are, and I'm like, Dad, I know. I listened to them. They were on the radio on my way to school every morning for forever, and I love them. They're great. They're one of my favorites because they're so funny.
And Rachel, you went to see George Strait live, and Taylor Swift was opening for him, right?
Wow.
It was you and your mom, I believe.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was before Taylor Swift exploded into.
Oh yeah,
pretty much. It was so funny because when she was just getting going, like I was really paying attention to country music, and like Brad Paisley is one of my favorites.
Well, Brad is awesome. We love Brad, and he's a fellow nerd, so we have to love Brad.
Oh my gosh,
big Iron Man fan apparently.
His music videos he had William Shatner in. I'm like, geez. But yeah, like his one video, was it Celebrity or no, it was online because it's like
that's with Taylor Swift.
And Taylor Swift is like one of the backup dancers in that one because she was opening for.
That's a really good music video too.
It's a great song and a great music video. Yeah,
he's like, I can appreciate this. And I'm like, oh man.
Oh yeah.
No, Brad Paisley. I fell in love with his music when I first heard "I'm Gonna Miss Her" because country music, it's all break up, it's so sad. And
your dog died, your wife left you, etc. Yes.
Yeah, all that.
Truck broke down.
That's right. The wife is like, if you go fishing, I'm leaving, and he goes, well, I'm gonna miss you.
Yeah. He's always had that great comedy thing about his song. I mean, some are really like tear jerkers, but he also has a very comedic songs, which are great.
Was he the one that did Ticks?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. That's Brad. Ticks. That's Brad.
Oh, that one's really good. Let's see, but then he has like Whiskey Lullaby, which I
beautiful. And then him and Alison Krauss duetting on that one is beautiful.
Oh yeah,
that one is so good. It's just
yeah,
I love it.
And then he's done some really, really good ones, I think. But these days, I mean, we seem to be going out of that phase. Was Bro Country, which slowly but surely is dying, which I'm really glad, because it was every time the lyrical content would be, it's Friday night, you're driving down a dirt road, and of course there's a girl walking down in cut-off jeans because she doesn't have anything better to do. And what do? You pick her up, you take her off to the lake, you're making love, and that's it. It's like, can move away from that formula.
As someone who grew up on a dirt road, a lot of dirt roads, you are not walking down a dirt road in cut-off jeans. There's something wrong with you. No, that is like absolutely not happening unless you're just an idiot. Which some of the people that I've met wandering around out in the sticks, you got out here, you didn't even know it, you're an idiot.
Oh no, but that's why Maddie and Tay did a brilliant thing when they came up with "Girl in the Country" song, when they were literally, literally coming out against this concept of the bro country movement, where it's Friday night, you're driving down the dirt road, there's a girl, you're going to pick her up and have a good time, and it was getting so monotonous because going on the country music soapbox here, country music used to be about storytelling, and that's what was the best thing about stories, because it was like watching a movie in audio form, or it was like a mini audio book, because you wanted to know what happened by the end of the song. And it's like, oh my God, that this happened, and so did this, and it's like, what's going to happen in the next verse? Now it's become so monotonous. I mean, now slowly but surely they bring
corporate slop.
That's corporate, and it's corporate Nashville is what it is. But and a lot of folks who write outside of Nashville that I've talked to are like, we tend to prefer to like work the Texas Red Dirt circuit, for example, or others, because Nashville is so corporate, and we found this formula, and that's what we're doing. No surprise, the duration of songs has gone down again. Like your random song will be like 2 minutes and 30 seconds when it used to be longer. Now they're starting to go back into the storytelling thing, which is good. You still have mainstream artists which do that, but for the most part, it's like it's very, very banal lyrics. So it's like, seems like these days, if you want to sell, you can't do the big stories. And I don't think that's necessarily the case, but it seems like we're starting to go back to that. I often go to Luke Combs's Where the Wild Things Are, which is a fantastic song because it's actually a story. I did not realize that it was at first, because I was just kind of doing the charts and playing it. One day at the supermarket, I was listening to it. I'm like, what? His brother died? What? We're having a party? What's going on here? But it's a really, really good song though. Luke Combs is brilliant in that sense. But the other ones, like I like you, you like me, we're a happy family. So it's like, no, let's do something else.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's just like, I mean, when you look back at the history of country music, it's like it has those roots of like, I mean, the West Virginia, like in the Appalachian, the the hollers and stuff, but also like those the cowboys or the sheep hands. Like my grandfather was, he raised sheep, and like a lot of the time you are out on you're out in the middle of nowhere watching these sheep, making sure they don't get lost or a coyote doesn't get them or something. And you're bored most of the time, so you start playing songs. Like he'd have his guitar and be playing a old Hank Williams tune, but all those Hank Williams tunes came because people were like, I'm writing this song and I'm out here in the middle of nowhere and I'm just singing about what I'm doing or what's important to me, and then that's where all the the vocals and all those kinds of things. So it's like, so that's where they're all just sitting around telling stories because that's what they've got to do. I mean,
that's what it is. Hank Williams Sr. was Hank Williams Sr. was an absolute genius. I so much. Don't care for his son, but that's for other reasons, because he was very rude to me personally when I interviewed him, but that's another story. And I'm like, just remember you have Junior at the end of your name.
Right.
Yeah, true enough. But yeah, no, Hank Williams, and just I just remember because my like I said, my grandpa, he played and a lot. We've got some video of him just playing, and just at the house, not anything really big or ostentatious, but it's just like it's like all those that kind of that tradition of music that actually means something to a lot of people.
Oh,
and it
totally. I
like
think if a song can tell
why it is so popular and why it resonates with people, and that like you said, Nick, that storytelling aspect of it, I'm glad it's coming
it's
back.
Starting to come back. And I will say
I kind of got disillusioned with it a bit because, like you said, it was just kind of this same old. It was too much trying to be pop or trying to be something that it wasn't. It's like, look, we've got pop, we've got R&B, we've got rock and roll, and there's some rockabilly or rock, country rock, that kind of thing, and that's fine. But it's like, be country, be what you are. Don't try to be all these other things, because that's not why people gravitate to you. I mean, you can experiment for sure, and you can do some new things.
Right.
That's the case for a lot of professions.
Well, yes.
Or the CMT Crossroads. I love those.
I mean, I could say that of so many other things that we talk about, like, whether it's movies or shows or genres. It's like, do not like one thing I like. Okay, I like romance novels, like whether it's fantasy, romance, contemporary, historical. I like it. I like a good love story. I like a good happily ever after. But I feel like there's this undercurrent in romance where it's like, well, we have to be intellectual and we have to be this, we have to be this. Like, look, you're fun, you're fluffy, you're something that is going to cheer somebody up. You are something hopeful, something heartwarming. Maybe it's a little spicy, maybe it's not. Whatever your preference is there. It's like, just be what you are and be what people love about you. Don't try to like, oh, we got to chase this other group because they think that we're somehow less than. It's like, well, let them think you're less than. Who cares? You've got your audience. You got your people that your readers that love you. Just how you are. Just be that. It's like we're not trying to, win a Pulitzer or anything. Just tell a good story.
Mm-hmm.
And that.
That's what it is.
Because in the process of trying to be something else, you're going to chase off the audience you already have, and the audience that you want, they still don't care about you.
Right.
So, anyway, that's my soapbox. Take that, if there's anyone in any entertainment creative industry out there listening, just be what you are. People will love you. The right people will love you. Ones that don't matter.
Stick to your guns. Be yourself.
Yes. That's my biggest thing. I mean, that's kind of the very, very 100,000 feet view of my book that I'll get one of these days. But okay. Trying to write it. It's like, yay, summer vacation. I can work on my book. And I'm gonna have carpal tunnel surgery and be out for a little bit. Be kind of hard to type or do much. I can read.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's about it.
I wouldn't trust doing any
doing
any audio dictation because sometimes that can be real hit and miss.
Yeah, I could probably just do audio recordings and then dictate myself later once I can type again. But yeah.
Yeah.
But so the whole idea of authenticity, and it's like, the podcast I listen to, I mean, I listen to variety. But something that I see come up quite often, especially now because we spend so much time online as a society, and granted, I'm mostly looking at this as an American listening to other Americans. It's going to be different in other parts of the world. But the idea that nowadays, people there's some people that when it comes to social media, they could take it or leave it. That's fine. But there's some people that truly enjoy being online. There are some people that they have managed to find a way to make a living online. And what we see is people who, go viral or, for whatever, they start to become noticed by a significant number of people. And it's usually because they did something that it's like, oh, that's very fresh or whatever. Some people they just have their 15 minutes of fame and they move on. There's some people they manage to make a career. I'm thinking of a 15-minute person would be like Chewbacca mom, where all she did was she played with this Chewbacca mask. It tickled her funny bone and she wanted to share it because she thought it was funny. And it was a very genuine, authentic thing that she's like, I'm a mom. I bought this for my kid. I was trying it. I thought it sounded funny. I put it on. I thought I looked hilarious. She shared it. And that's great if somebody manages to find their niche by being themselves. But the damned algorithm.
That's a
it
big
all
point.
comes back to the algorithm
so much,
and it makes it so hard because the algorithms and the algorithm is what gets you seen, and not just by people but by potential sponsors, which is how you make your money.
Right.
For most part is you have to change your content to try to get the algorithm to get you out there.
Right.
And first of all, these algorithms are proprietary. We have no idea.
It's like
what is actually
trying to appease, like an ancient civilization trying to appease this vengeful god, and we have to guess what will appease it.
Exactly, right? And it's like do you continue to be yourself because that is what got you noticed in the first place, but you're likely to never really grow.
Right.
because that's not what the algorithm wants? Or do you suddenly change who you are to try and chase the notoriety and therefore the paycheck that comes with it? It is really disappointing that people are faced with this kind of catch-22 of, I could be myself, but I can't make a living.
Right.
Or I can pretend to be somebody I'm not, but people will give me stacks of cash.
Right.
Yeah,
The Wayne's
I
World
think
movie is a perfect example of that.
Oh yeah.
Think about, you know, two dudes doing a show in the basement or whatever, and then suddenly a TV show wants to have them broadcasted
On a public access channel, and then
it's like, are you going to sacrifice who you are in favor of ratings kind of situation?
Yeah. And it's kind of like, well, you know, is this a hobby or is this something that you want to do full time? It's like, what do you want to get out of it? And are you, you know, what is your goal? What is your purpose in doing this? And you know, if you want to chase and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I am not saying this is right or wrong whatsoever, because you know, people got to eat. You got to make a living. And if you can secure that bag by doing whatever it is that you got to do, then do it. But if that's not something that you are comfortable with doing, then you know, you can treat it as a hobby. You can treat it as, you know, something you just do on the side. And maybe if you make a little extra cash, then great. It's just, you know, it's like kind of like, what is your goal in doing this? What do you want to do with it? And do you like what you are doing with it? And if you are good with those answers to those questions, and whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
I totally agree.
Yeah. I just, you know, when I've seen, like, especially like YouTube creators, we'll just use YouTube because it's kind of an easy shorthand, but this could be for podcasters or bloggers, whatever. Like, I have seen I've had lots of favorite YouTube channels, but then they just stopped for whatever reason. Maybe they got a better opportunity somewhere. Maybe it just wasn't worth it for them, or maybe things changed in their life and it just didn't work out anymore. And you know, life happens.
Oh, totally.
I kind of feel like somebody posed this to me, and it kind of took me off guard. It's like, you know, when someone starts a business, and then, you know, maybe you know, it goes on for a little while, and then they like have to close it for whatever reason. Why do we call that a failed business? Maybe it's just done. Maybe it's just run its course, and maybe the person who's running it just wanted to go on to something else, and they didn't necessarily want to just sell it off and let some corpo mind, you know, hive mind take it over. And they're like, nah, I'm done with this, and then I'm just gonna go off and do something else. Like, why do we call it a failed business? And I'm like, you know, that's actually a good question, because not everything lasts forever.
No, no.
I was watching that business could have been very successful, but
they just want to do something else.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, eventually else, or things happen
that they had to, like, let's end it on a good note instead of down note.
Yeah, it's like it reminds me of a very popular pub we have over here in Italy, where the guy was raking tons and tons and tons and tons of money, and what did he decide to do? He decided to sell the pub and move to a remote island because he wanted to enjoy his time off with that. Now, there is a question I wanted to pose to you guys, because I don't know where this is a thing over here, over there. Over here in Italy, it's become a huge topic of debate when it comes to side hustles, in particular with high school female teachers who don't earn as much as they should. What are they doing to earn extra income? They have an OnlyFans channel. Now, this has become under huge scrutiny because they offer adult content. And parents are like, I can't believe you're doing this. My kids go to this school and they so it's a very loaded question, but since I love asking loaded questions, by the way, hello, Heather. Do you agree with teachers having an OnlyFans page, or should they not? If they
I have some tangential experience with this.
Kind
of.
Okay.
I have a friend that she has several hustles as her to make her living, and one of those is she writes hi Heather.
Hi.
She writes.
You dropped in at the right time.
She writes some spicy romance
Like
novels.
fiction,
right?
Yeah, and some of it tends to be kind of like, you know, like romantasy. So there's like, you know, sometimes like werewolves and stuff.
Mhm.
You know,
which is a lucrative
business.
Yeah, I mean, she does well enough. But just to get a more regular paycheck, because she goes to cons and stuff, but those, you know, those cost money to go to, and they're only on the weekend, and they're limited to how far away she can travel before she comes home for, you know, because she's married. She don't want to leave her husband home alone. He doesn't actually want to go with her, and he's got his own job.
That's the subject for her next book.
Yes. But she got a job filling in as kind of a permanent substitute at a school near her. The teacher had to go out for, you know, medical leave or whatever. And so she took over, and it was going really well. And one day, one of her students apparently decided to Google her and came across her author page.
Okay, you should not be Googleable or use a not your real name.
Like a pen
Well,
name.
and you know,
use a pen
it's
name.
something. Odds are
it is
something
tricky.
like that.
That is a tricky
You know,
thing.
yeah, depending on the school, they shouldn't have been able to access a page like that to begin with.
And they could have found it when they're at home.
Not for the school directly, but maybe from home, or they have to click like, do you want to continue this page? It's not safe. Yes, please.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, it was separate from everything else. But the kid just happened to find it, and it ultimately
How
she
old
had
of
to
a
leave.
kid are we talking about, though, Rachel?
She was junior high, I think. So
yeah, this is my thought on it, and I am coming at it from the side of I am a parent. I am also a public librarian, and I have been around teenagers. Teenagers are little turds. I know why they're little turds. It's like the worst time of life for them, but they're little turds. So if the teacher is not harming kids in any fashion, if it, you know, everybody's adults, everything's all above board. But when you're dealing with junior high, high school kids, they are going to try to find you. They will. Even, you know, even if you do have a, you know, you could take precautions to have a pen name, don't put your picture on it or whatever you want to do. And if you're okay with it, or maybe you would just flat out say, look, on the side, I write these kinds of books. I am not going to tell you whether or not they are appropriate for you, because that is for me, that is for you and your parents to decide.
Correct.
Throw it back over to the parents, and you maybe, and you know, I think there is I don't know, there's a lot of,
because you said educators were fired from their jobs, mind you, when they found out they were adult entertainers.
I don't think that is right. I do not think that is right.
Yeah, because that's definitely behind a wall where they're not supposed to be able to find that type of stuff.
If you're soliciting to your students, then that's one thing that you shouldn't be doing. But if you are trying to earn money because the state or the country is not paying you enough, and you need to, you know,
supplement your income.
Drugs, you need to supplement your income because you need to buy gold star stickers. You know what I mean? Like, the teachers across the world are making money.
It is a sticky topic, one that I have had many.
No pun intended.
Yeah, I know, but
I had to do it. I'm sorry.
I know, that's all right. It is. Yes, it's a thorny subject. It's something that I have strong feelings about. Just on so many levels. I'm like, as long as children are not being harmed in any way, and you know, maybe you are, you know, just say, look, this is something I do. Parents, your kids may find out about it. I don't know. I feel like there's like we should encourage more transparency, because when you are open about, these are the things I do, and like parents can talk about it with their kids can, you know, and you know what, when you're like hiding it, like, ooh, this is something you shouldn't, you know, you can't have or you shouldn't have, but we're not telling you why, because it's kind of like, well, that just makes it more enticing for them. But then you tell them and you say, look, that's what this is. And honestly, sounds like, I mean, I don't know, but Rachel, your friend, the person that you knew, I don't know how many junior high kids are going to want to read. Maybe some of them will. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Kids are
It's not a
scary.
genre. It's not a genre that is typically appealing to that age group.
Yeah.
I'm speaking.
I'm like,
in general terms.
I'm old enough to be reading her books, but it's not my genre. So,
Again,
No, but do we think it was
as a
actually the
librarian, and I tell
kid
people
that
this,
researched this, or do we think it was the parent and said, "Oh, my kid found so and so's, dirty profile"?
No, so from what I understand, the kid Googled her while in class and was like, "Hey, is this you?"
Ooh.
Yeah.
So they went on their
like
personal
they found her
phone
off
or
page, like
device.
Amazon or something.
Yikes.
Maybe, I don't know.
It is a tricky one
Yikes.
to think about, and I don't think anyone should, as long as like we're not crossing the professional streams, as it were, as long as those things aren't being. But then again,
never cross the streams.
Never cross the streams. But then again, there are plenty of wine moms and suburban Karens who just want to pick a fight because
yeah, I was gonna say about you, Chrissy. Absolutely, it's like they're looking for a problem and a complaint because they don't like the way that the teacher looks, smells, talks, walks, whatever.
When you are a hammer and everything looks like a nail.
Yeah,
I take that as you will.
No, you're right. You're 100% right.
Yeah, so it's and this is something I deal with at my library, and I actually have had like parents who are like so upset about blah 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 whatever, and I just kind of like, look, you're right, and I understand it, and I understand you don't want your kid reading those things. And my suggestion is, and I know we're kind of getting off topic here, but I'm like, come to me, I will help you find something appropriate, something that you want your kids to have.
I mean, these kids are very they're not aging any of us on this podcast, but they are very advanced. Like, I mean, I'm talking specifically about like friends of mine and their kids who are 14, 15, and I'm like, you did what and did this and you didn't know about this, you shouldn't know about this,
right? Or you're reading that author, it's like, whoa. Because I mean, my jaw literally dropped one day when before I got my full-time teaching gig, I was instructional aide. I was walking down the 6th grade hallway and a kid's carrying Stephen King's It. I'm like, okay.
Now,
I mean, maybe that
cool
kid
parents,
could,
but not appropriate.
Right. It's just like, okay, your parents might have cleared it, but it's like, let's not be bringing that to into the classroom. School, yes.
And
read that at home.
Me as a public librarian, like when the It movies were coming out, and I could tell like these 13-year-old kids are like,
oh yeah,
can you find It for me? Like they think I'm gonna like chew them out for wanting to read it. And I'm like, yeah, sure, here you go. And I'm like, and if you guys get in trouble with your parents, that's your fault. That's on you because that was your choice. Or also on the parents for not paying attention. But again, I'm not gonna come down too hard on some parents because I get it, having children myself, and there are some things my kids find that I'm like, and we're gonna do something else.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a fair point. Kind of reminds me of my grandmother yelling at me when I think it was 15 or 16. I was reading Suskin's Perfume, and she was like, "I didn't know you were into pornography."
Okay, the world's very different from what it used to be, but also I think it comes down to, and I hate to say this because it's across all platforms, people's self-awareness is non-existent anymore. Whether it's a child, whether it's a parent, whether it's an adult, whether whomever, people either don't care enough or they just have they're the zombies down in their phone. They don't know how to peripherally do anything. They're so focused on themselves, they're not looking at anybody else. And do we blame that on our social bubbles during the pandemic that kind of pushed us into that? I just think it's gotten worse. Everyone's kind of out for themselves. But a child should, thank goodness that you guys exist in the world, because you can at least help navigate what they might not be getting that kind of upbringing or training at home. By saying, let's find you something more appropriate to read, you're establishing that boundary, but at the same time, you're also like, I'm here to help and I'm not going to scold you. But like, let's look at something that's a little bit more appropriate for where you're standing at right now.
Yeah. And on that flip side, like you were talking about how kids are like so much more advanced. Just last week, I had a girl, she's probably about 13, or I'd say she's 14. And she was like coming to me at the desk saying, do you have this book? Do you have, and it's all like sort of fantasy sort of things. And then she's like, do you have romance for kids? And I'm like, do you mean like in the teen area? And she's like, yeah, but I don't want any like dirty content, because I guess a librarian, not at my branch, but at another one, she didn't tell me which one, had asked for that, and they had given her some stuff that was like she was not comfortable with. And the fact that she recognized that she was not comfortable with it, and then
that says a lot.
Yeah, and then she came and was like, look, I like love stories and I like these things. I'm like, okay, I will find you some things. And I gave her some suggestions that I had either read the whole series or I at least read some of the series, and I could tell her that this was what she was looking for. She left with like a dozen books, and and then her mom came and found her, and she's like, oh yeah, that'll last her like a week. And I'm like, oh, I remember those days. Like,
you gotta wonder what at the other branch what they were thinking. They're like, oh yes, you, what do you like, 13, 14, Lady Chatlery's lover, here you
there you go. That was it.
Court of Thorn and Roses, sure, we'll give you
that.
Song of Ice and Fire.
I was very lucky, I think, as a kid when it came to what I read and
Flowers in the Attic.
Yeah, I was very lucky,
Game
I
of
think,
Thrones.
when it came to what I read, me and my siblings read and listened to. I mean, we had very sort of liberal and open parents, especially my mother. Like I got into, because I don't know if we all, but I mean, I did. I got into my whole occult moment where I was reading about demonology and numerology and everything.
Oh no, I think this is 100% the group and our perspective
I was
age
just
ranges, and we
fascinated
all had that moment.
I was just so fascinated by it. But my aunt at the time was yelling at my mother saying, is your son turning into a black magician? I wish, but I didn't. I can't summon demons on a whim. But yeah, because my aunt is,
Harry Potter, you are the devil.
Yeah.
I mean, my aunt, God bless her, she's a wonderful woman. But I mean, I was walking around with one of the tomes on numerology and like the study of demons throughout history, and she was like, "Is he turning into a black magician?" And I'm like,
yes, that's exactly I was like, what I'm doing.
And we could and we could jam to Black Sabbath and all that. My mom
that's exactly like how any nowadays any woman or any person that listens to true crime like podcast is suddenly going to turn into a serial killer.
Yeah,
exactly.
The pipeline.
That's how my mother thinks 100%. She says, I don't know why you're into all this weird stuff. And then I found out like 3 years ago, my great grandmother was also into it. And I'm just like, but true crime is fascinating. And I know how to protect myself and the weird stuff to look for. But also like,
I know which warning flags to look out for.
Yes.
But the best one was visiting my grandmother in Brighton, and I was in my hip hop stage, gangster rap, and everything else, and we were going. And I was picking up Tupac and Exhibit.
Tell me there's photos that exist.
And I don't know if there's things, but we would literally. My grandmother would listen to classic music and opera and so on. I popped on. I think it was like Dr. Dre's latest album. I think it was The Chronic at the time. And I'm blasting this in her little apartment in Brighton. She walks in and starts jamming to it. And I'm like, this is fantastic.
Yes.
Like really hardcore stuff. But, and she's like jamming to him, like, love your grandma, because she does this.
For Whom the Bell Tolls from Metallica was playing a couple weeks ago. And my mom and I were, I think, at Tampa Hard Rock Casino or Coconut Creek. And she was like, oh yeah, I like this song. And I had a record scratch. You like this song? Do you know who sings it? Yeah, it's Metallica. And I'm like, excuse me? She goes, what? Do you think I'm an idiot? No.
Hey, Chauncey's grandmother, she wasn't. She didn't care for Metallica for the most part, but she did like Call of Cthulhu. So
there you go.
I
Well,
mean,
it's a great instrumental piece.
yes.
So funny.
Great instrumental.
No. Oh my. Well, I don't know what your mother's worried about, Heather, because I mean, you spend most of your time talking about Broadway, so.
Yes, but apparently that makes me a freak. Because she's like, you talk about all, yes, thank you. You talk about all these things, and I have no idea what you're talking about. It's like another language. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
All she needs to do is watch highlights from the Tony Awards last night. Like, look, all the other freaks.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yes. Like during Chris's speech for his Tony acceptance was, I'm going to go hang out with the most fun people here, the theater fans, the theater kids. Yes.
Yes.
We're cool.
There you go.
I'll be going up to New York at the end of this month because we just brought on a new show as part of the Broadway fan club. And we are the official fan group of a new show, and I will have a press event up there. So I will not be able to stop talking about it for quite some time.
Nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. Yeah. I was watching some of the highlights on TikTok earlier.
I'm offended,
I did
Rachel.
not.
Oh
I did not. So
you missed Jonathan Groff doing a Hedwig car wash to Keanu Reeves.
yeah, I saw that in the highlights. So
yeah.
I did see that, Keanu's reaction to it. He was just like, yeah, best thing ever.
Was the best thing ever. And I mean, Johnny Groff, like that.
I love Jonathan Groff.
I can talk all about it, but I just spent an hour and 15 minutes doing that, and this is not my podcast. This is yours.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
that's our subtle way of saying check the show notes for the link to Heather's show.
Thanks, toss. I mean, we only have 2.7 million members now.
Just a few theater geeks. It's not like I'm working on an entire leg piece of tattoos owed to some of my favorite musicals.
Rachel, did you see who else made an appearance on the red carpet last night, though?
That's a very broad question. You have to be more specific than that.
The Phantom of the freaking Opera was on the red carpet last night.
Oh, nice.
Which one?
Which red carpet or which Phantom?
No, which Phantom?
We believe, because he was fully masked, it was Jeremy Stoll. Because they're getting ready to, they've been doing some slight marketing for Masquerade, which is the immersive Phantom experience that's opening up in New York. So he literally just walked behind everybody on the red carpet in full cape and mask. So from keen eyes, it was Jeremy Stoll. Whether or not that's confirmed, we have not officially confirmed or denied it.
It was Robert Downey Jr. testing out as Dr. Doom, but nobody knows.
DJ, man, let me tell you that I would not put it past him. He can pull it off.
He has to test what he looks like behind the mask, right? I mean, it's kind of like like Hugo Weaving as V, I suppose. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if RDJ has the height to be a menacing Phantom, though.
Phantom's not tall, though.
No,
I know, but RDJ comparatively is.
Well, yes and no. I mean, most Phantoms are like fun sized.
Exactly.
And the Christines are tiny. Yes.
Well, that's true.
Nick could
proportionally.
play the Phantom.
That's me.
There you go, Nick.
You just have to have a presence of, aristocracy mixed with a little bit of psycho mixed. Yeah.
Well, I was descended from Russian barons, I guess.
Well, if it's to be believed that if you are of German ancestry and you have the title or nomenclature or whatever of von in your name, that means that you have ties to some sort of aristocracy. So if that's the case, then I do through my yes,
exactly.
I do through my mom's side. So
there you go. You're part of the Doom family, then, Rachel.
Yes. I think that is the most honest thing that I've ever heard about Rachel as part of the Doom family.
There you go. Which is very fitting, seeing how much you love
100%.
RDJ.
100%.
I didn't want to spill the beans this early, but
I mean, well, thank you for trusting just us, 5 people, 6 people on the podcast right now.
Yeah, the other person watching is my husband, so
what's our
nobody else has
of adoring fans?
Yeah. He's also our silent co-producer because he's been bankrolling us our lips in account for the entire time that we've been
I mean, he is more than welcome to bankroll us too.
He bankrolls the podcast. I bankroll the nonprofit. It's all good.
Nice.
Rachel, if you ever come across, and I've told you this before, and I know it's been many, 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 many moons ago, but if you ever come across the file where you guys have the theme of this podcast, please send it to me because I want it to be my next ringtone.
No.
I literally wake up, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do.
That was from the YouTube library.
I guess that's better than having Duggadoo stuck in your head.
Currently, I have Midsummer Murders as my ringtone.
So funny story. My kids, my daughter likes to watch those YouTube kid videos where they're like, showing off toys and things. I'm like, it's harmless, whatever. Every once in a while, one of them will use that da-da-da-da, da-da-da. I'm like, that's our podcast theme.
Yeah.
It's so catchy, man. It's
like, did she discover?
It's like, it's like, which one are you on? Like, oh, you're watching, another baby doll thing or Paw Patrol.
I have to also ask, are your kids into Gabby's house at all, or are they past
Gabby's dollhouse? They have not discovered that one yet.
Because a movie's coming out now. My niece is so excited about the movie.
Which one?
Okay. I think we've been getting
Gabby's house is coming out with a movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've never heard of that, so apparently I'm not cool enough to be in the know.
I don't know either.
Still very much in her Bluey stage, which everyone needs to be in a Bluey stage because
always
it's great.
Did you have to go through the baby
one of
shark
my best friends
phase?
loves Bluey.
Oh yeah.
Chris, did you have to go through the baby shark phase?
We actually skipped that one.
Oh goodness!
You are so lucky because now I have that in my head, and it's like the lyrical content is horrendous.
My son was a baby when Baby Shark was a big thing, and we steered him. Let's see, what did we do instead? That was when Mr. Rogers was getting a resurgence, so we did a lot of that.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
You were also playing a lot of Queen when he was in utero too, Chrissy. So
that is true. We would listen to Queen, and that would put him to sleep.
And then because I can remember sending you a whole bunch of like the classic rock, but it was like instrumentals lullabies are using like the baby toys to play.
Oh yeah.
No, it was what, let's see, White Queen was a big favorite. Another one, Bites the Dust, he would listen to, he would fall asleep to. And now that he's almost 8, now he's like, Mom, I want Bohemian Rhapsody. And we were
nice, raising him right.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, started in utero, so
raising him right.
He did. And I explained to him, Alex, this is what the song, and Lottie's like, why did he fall asleep to Queen? It's like, I don't know. He just, of course, when she was a baby, she listened to Bollywood music and fell asleep to that.
Yeah. No, my niece was into Bob Marley in her early months.
Ooh, cool.
That's what she was
Alex,
Marley. That's cool.
Both of them are like, Mommy, play Queen. I'm like, oh, my children, it's a parenting win. I might not be able to get you to eat your vegetables, but I got you listening to Queen.
I'm glad you escaped Baby Shark because my mother was very vocal on her thoughts of the lyrical content of Baby Shark, and
there's nothing to it.
I'll keep it PG. But she's like, "What the f is this? These are such crappy lyrics. How is this working?" Mother, musical critic, but so there you go.
No, my sister with her she had triplets a few months earlier than Alex was born. She did not escape Baby Shark. But that's because she had triplets and then she had 2 other older kids. And I'm like, you know what? You are exempt from any parental judgment because you were dealing with that.
Yeah.
Now they're all 8 years old. They're happy. They're independent little people and they're cute. So everything's better. Everything's good. But at the time it was like, oh, God bless you, child. But no, my children are very well cultured. Although
that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Although
I'm trying to get my niece. My niece is now into Disney movies, which is fantastic.
Good.
Yeah, I'm trying
Alex
to get
is
the same football team I do, but that's too late now because her father has taken care of that. But
well, yeah, the parents kind of they have first dibs on that one. Alex is more into like Super Mario, and Lottie, her favorite princess is Zelda.
nice.
She loves, and we actually got her Echoes of Wisdom for Christmas.
Oh, cool.
She plays a little bit. Mostly my husband plays, but she watches, and every once in a while she'll be like, "Daddy, I want you to play End of Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom so that Link can save Zelda."
Yeah.
So one of my best friends is expecting his baby mama to pop any moment soon, and he has been playing nerdy music, but she's not a nerd, so she has no idea. So I'll read his exact text because I'm like, dude, that's one, brilliant evil genius, but also two, it's pretty messed up. Because so they were in a situationship and then she got knocked up. And now anyways, oversharing. But
Fiveish Fangirls After Dark.
I mean, so he goes, yeah, I've been playing the baby music from Final Fantasy 14.
Oh,
and I was like, I'm sure, but she's told about that. He's like, well, she just thought it was orchestral music. And I'm like, oh my God. And he goes, yeah, it's really orchestral. And then I'm programming Sultana Dreaming as his bedtime music. And I'm like, God, dude, like at least tell the baby mama, like, this is nerd music. This isn't just beautiful music, which it is, but there's a reason I'm playing it.
Mm-hmm.
You play the music first, and then you tell them, no, this is from a video game, and then they're like, are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, when my mother-in-law, she has to fall asleep. She has to have music playing. There always has to be calm music. So we're putting, and every once in a while she asks my husband, like, can you put together a new mix CD for me for falling asleep? And we were putting one together, and I was like throwing in orchestral music from Donkey Kong Country 2.
Nice.
like Sticker Brush Symphony and Forest Interlude. And I was like, and she has no idea. Well, maybe she does now. I'm like, yeah, this music's pretty awesome.
There you go.
Hey, if it sounds good and it gets the job done.
It does.
Yep.
Really?
Next time we need the Avengers theme. There you go, by Alan Silvestri.
Fall asleep to it, so.
I mean, I don't know if it's sleeping music, but
Thundercats. I vote
you
for
can find
Thundercats.
the lullaby version, because as Holly was alluding to, the lullaby version of metal songs is brilliant, where you have like all the best of the best of metal songs, and there's Maiden, there's Metallica, there's also Slayer, which is brilliant, and I'm like,
but also vice versa.
All those CDs at my library, like all those in the kids area, it's like they're all
nice.
Any like super popular. I mean, there's one for Beatles, there's one for David Bowie, there's I think there's one for Nirvana.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
There's all the things. Metallica, Black Sabbath.
Oh yeah.
I just like that it reads opposite too, because you've got like Disney goes pop and Disney goes punk. And Disney goes like death metal, and you're like, but these are innocent little songs. Oh wow, look what they did to that. It just it's really cool the change of what a song can mean when you change how the lyrics are sung.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's like the metal covers of pop songs. I always remember "Oops, I Did It Again" done by Children of Bodom, which were a Finnish metal band, and it was so epic. We would literally turn it up to 100 when we were just cruising around the car. It was like, I want to hear "Oops, I Did It Again" metal version. There we go.
There's a death metal version of Friday. Like,
wow.
Yeah, or Call Me Maybe death metal, and you're like, wow, so weird.
I do like the artists on like TikTok and stuff where they're really talented musicians, and people will be like, what if Five Finger Death Punch did their own version of I don't know, something so
Bye,
not
bye,
five.
something
Yeah,
silly.
yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Richard Cheese is a great artist when it comes to that, of doing like jazz and blues versions of metal songs, like he did songs from Slipknot, and he did that kind of, and it's literally like as if Michael Bublé would do them. It's like, here we go again, mother effer,
But
and
he
kind of
started taking that direction after Postmodern Jukebox, because Scott Bradley started that.
Yep.
And Postmodern Jukebox, I don't know if y'all have listened to recently, they have been doing some crazy remixes, and you're just like, wait, I like that even better than the original.
Chop Suey by System of a Down done in a like big band version. Why did you leave the kids upon the table? Why did you leave the kids upon the table? It's brilliant.
Yeah,
it's great.
Well, when I go to see Weird Al next month, he usually does not have an opening act. Usually, but Piddles is
I was gonna say Piddles
opening for him.
Yeah. Oh my god, love it. And he does Postmodern Jukebox, and did America's Got Talent. He's all over Orlando. Gotta love it.
Oh, so he is going to have an opening act then this time around.
Yeah. He usually doesn't. The only other time I've seen him with an opening act is when he was doing the like the strip down tour, and I mean, it's not a musical opening act, but Emo Phillips was opening for him, so
okay.
Which was a lot of fun.
They did something similar, speaking of which, when it came to the recent Roland Garros finals for the tennis, for both the men and the women, where they had this group of just classic fiddle violinists and violas and cellos. And for the women, they did all pop songs sung by women, instrumental. So you had Billie Eilish, you had Miley Cyrus, you had all this stuff. And then when the guys came around, they did the same thing, except with songs sung by guys. It was wonderful to see my dad not getting one of them. And me, I'm like, yes, that's Billie Eilish. I'm like, who's Billie Eilish? Never mind. Like, oh, that's Miley
It's like
Cyrus's
watching
Cloud.
Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Oh, which I tried doing with people, and you're just like, no, and this is I was talking to my hairstylist, and her mom is like really into Wicked, but they tried to read the book, and her mom couldn't get past the first chapter because it's a totally different language. And I'm like, yeah, but Gregory Maguire at the back of his books, at least the original ones, actually gave an encyclopedia of like a dictionary of like, here is a map, here is this word, this is what this means, this is how this person's, just like what they did with Game of Thrones, and they did like the family hierarchies. They did it in Bridgerton too. I think people are just getting lazy at this point.
Speaking of the classic stuff, I am really looking forward to the new Downton Abbey movie. I don't know if that's just me.
Never
I'm
seen
really
an episode.
Excited. I'm thrilled.
I tried
more Downton Abbey,
but
I tried half an episode. I couldn't.
I watched all of the show. I've not seen any of the movies yet. I need to.
They're definitely worth your while, Chris. If you're a fan of the show, watch the movies.
Yeah, I was my biggest. I don't know if I want to call it gripe, but it just that everything life just kept crapping all over poor Edith, and I was like,
I know.
Give this girl a break. For the love of Pete, I'm like, Mary gets everything. Sybil died. Sorry, spoilers. Poor Edith is just there. I'm like, come on.
No, it was such a fantastic show. I mean, at least I really enjoyed it. And I'm talking about romantic comedies and all this kind of thing. I really enjoyed it.
Maggie Smith plays your grandmother. You're like, you've made it.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's Maggie Smith. You know.
Yes.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. That's it. That's why I watched it, because Professor McGonagall was their grandma.
But speaking of which, though, I don't know about you guys. I am not going to be watching, but this is a conscious choice of mine. I'm not going to be watching the Harry Potter series.
I'm not either.
I've decided I refuse to watch it.
So there's a big controversy now on top of everything else, because Tom Felton is coming on to Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, he's been defending J.K. Rowling apparently. Yep,
he's been defending J.K. Rowling, but
his biggest thing is, look, she, that created a big opportunity, and he just doesn't want to really get into it, is what I got from that.
The interview at the red carpet last night.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but here's the thing: Draco Malfoy, awesome. I love Harry Potter. I can't support it, but being in the position I am in with my Broadway stuff, I know exactly how much money JK made and that she's not making anything further. Just like in the theme parks, because I happen to literally from my house can see Hogwarts Castle and the Ministry of Magic.
Not that
I'm
she
in
needs
between
any more
Epic.
money at this point, but whatever.
She's not making anything from the theme park. She's completely
Well, I
cut out.
mean, like I said, I don't think she's gonna break the bank regardless.
No, but it's hard because
Yeah,
I
because
think
it's like once you sign away the licensing rights, that's kind of it.
Well, but that's what's happened
Yep.
is there's a management company that's doing the TV show that's also doing the Broadway stuff, and there's different management groups that have nothing to do with her, and it's pretty much licensed out. So I don't want to, take away from the fandom. It is hard because of what JK has done.
That's exactly it. I mean, it's like, granted, if you're paying for whatever, etc., it's not going to, even if I don't do it, it's not going to make her poorer or richer. It's like one person, it's like if a million people do it, it's one thing. But I just, as a conscious choice, it's kind of like, recently, where we're going to be talking about the second season of the Sandman,
right. Which I can't freaking wait about.
I am heartbroken. I am heartbroken that Neil turned out to be who he was.
Yes.
And I'm not going to be I'm not going to be forwarding anything that makes money, puts money in his pocket. No. It's part of the streaming service that I put with the Sandman is streaming on. But it's just, if I'm not going to actively go out and buy a copy of Good Omens these days, because I don't want, as much as it's not going to change his bank account, etc. It's just,
you don't want to add to it.
It's just a conscious choice of mine
and
that I don't want to
that
support.
Is perfectly valid. That is absolutely 100% truly valid.
Yep.
I've watched all of these different things and scandals and stuff go down as we all have, and I've just kind of come to the conclusion that so back in the day, like in we'll say the 50s, 60s, whatever, is like you heard about these stars, you knew or you saw them in movies, and like Gene Kelly, he is in Singing in the Rain, he's that character. Or Audrey Hepburn, she's Breakfast at Tiffany's, she's Roman Holiday, all these things, and these people are like, you don't know anything about them personally, you don't know their politics, you don't know their opinions, you don't know, like, it was very much, there was a wall there. Well, then years happen, and then of course we have like the chat shows, and we have the magazines, and they get interviews, but those things are very packaged and very polished and very this stuff is like it's very controlled. They've got PR. Well, then here comes the internet, here comes social media, and it has just become now we know everything about these stars, these celebrities, athletes, what have you.
It exposes the seedy underbelly. It's like
there is no wonder there anymore, and that kind of, I think, has dampened our enthusiasm.
It has broken the spell. I agree,
because like now we know what people think. And whether or not you agree with and fill in the blank, I don't care. And honestly, I'm like, on my politics are, as what Treebeard says, I am on no one's side because no one is on my side, and I can confidently say that. But I'm not going to get into that. But celebrities, movies, entertainment, because we have unfiltered access to their thoughts, and some of these people just run at the mouth. And they just spew whatever it is they're throwing out there, and this is on every spectrum of whatever your opinion is. And I am not singling out anybody, I'm not mentioning names, because they all do it, every single one of them. And it's like, I have lost so much respect for many actors and many individuals and many people who I like their work, I like their stuff. But you're the same, you're spewing the same BS that everybody else in your industry is saying. And I can tell that a lot of you if I were to sit down and have a conversation with you longer than what it take to get an autograph at a con, you would hate my guts. And you have specifically said you would hate my guts. I don't want to hang out with you. And even if I like and now it's like tainted my enjoyment of some of the stuff that you have done. And maybe I'll get back to it, and maybe it'll take time. But I really feel like, first off, these celebrities, they need their PR people to like stop them posting on social media. I don't care which social media you're doing.
That's what happened with Nicole Scherzinger.
Stop posting. You're ruining everything.
Yep.
But it's not their PR people. I'm going to tell you that. Inside, and at least the theater world on my end, it's not their PR people. It's their interns.
They're
or
whoever, interns or whoever.
Well, they're also hiring social media management companies who have their like regular recipes for success. But like, again, I know not everyone's
controversy, cause a scandal, say something.
Nicole Scherzinger apparently commented to Russell Brand, who's already on the naughty list. And
it's like,
and about his MAGA hat. And it's just it exploded. It's too much drama.
We cannot enjoy anything together as a people, no matter what our politics are, or no matter who you voted for. Like, I do not give a shit. I don't care. I know I'm alive. I don't give a shit who you voted for. I don't.
Yep. Right.
I want to enjoy something that isn't tainted by the political discourse of any kind. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't want it in my entertainment. I know everyone's like, well, all entertainment is political. Not really. Not really. Entertainment is supposed to be for everybody, regardless of whatever creed you subscribe to. And I feel like we've lost a lot of our humanity and like recognizing like all the things that we all go through as human beings, the things that we all experience, because everything has become so niche. And it's like, we have to put it in this.
We can't have nice things anymore, is what it comes down to. Because there's somebody that's always going to have something to say.
Yeah, and I feel like that is why a lot of the indie space is starting to fill in that gap, but it's also kind of become more separated because, like someone was talking about, like we don't have those like. Well, part of it is there's like so many streaming channels and so many all these things, but everybody's watching different stuff. There's not like you don't. After you saw the episode of Cheers last night, you didn't come to work and like, oh, did you see that? And those water cooler moments, like we don't have that anymore. We don't have pop culture anymore.
You know what our water cooler moments are, Chrissy? What we're doing right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Walk moments of podcasts these days.
Yeah. That's what it is. But it's like we all watch, different streaming stuff. We watch or we listen to different things. We watch different YouTube channels. We watch or we read the different books, and it's just it is different. And I think it's going to eventually. I think it will settle down. Right now, it's just a mess. And I think, and because of the way, like we were talking earlier about the algorithm. Praise be to our Lord and Savior, the algorithm. We have to appease it by getting rage bait out there, and maybe like some of those social media managers are like, how do I get my client in the news? Oh, I know, I'm going to say this extremely offensive thing, and that'll get the clicks. Trust me.
But the question is though, should celebrities then voice their opinions on hot button topics?
I think they need to chill
to
out.
an extent.
I think they really need to chill out. There's nothing that they can say that will add or subtract to the topic, and people just get so. They get so. What is the word I'm
obsessed?
Obsessed. They get their hackles up whenever anybody brings up, fill in the topic. I don't even have to tell you which one because you're already thinking of one.
That's what I'm saying. Is like that's why I just put it.
I don't think it helps their cause. I honestly do not think it helps. Whether you're supporting or not or whatever. Whatever cause you're trying to bring.
I think if they have a platform that they're already focused on, and they're saying it as diplomatically as possible, it always going way back into my nerdism, the Princess Diaries. when, she's being taught how to be, royal, and well, you have to listen to everybody, but you have to be diplomatic, and you have to learn how to say something where you're not offending anybody, but you're being very direct to the point. I think again, it comes back to that self-awareness of, are people aware? So if you're doing it to get the reaction, the knee-jerk reaction, and like the clicks or whatever, you suck. But if you're doing it to speak about a platform, there's a thing going on right now that's about Pride Month, and there's like a big thing, and I'm not even going to bring it into it because I don't want to get into politics, but can people voice their concerns about something? Yes. Are you forcing your opinion on everybody? Then don't do that. You can have a soapbox to get up onto and present, but if you're going to do it in a professional, respectful manner where you respect just human beings in general, if you're going to be, this is this person, and just make blatant lies, then there's an issue.
Oh, no, totally. But my only thought is, even if you speak positively or negatively about a certain subject, you're still going to come under fire. It's kind of a damage.
Oh yeah, because you can't make everybody happy.
So either, I mean, either you keep your peace and you don't voice your opinion on it, and just sort of, I mean,
when you do,
I'm not a Taylor Swift, and I wish I was blonde, but sadly I'm not. So I'm not a Taylor Swift, unfortunately. But when it comes to my profession, exactly, and inside my, and I'm not blonde haired and blue eyed or anything, but
you're not.
I even see as a public figure myself, being a radio show host and everything else. I don't allow any political discourse on my page, regardless of how I
think
feel,
that is a wise decision.
Because I just keep the peace. And some people might say you're being passive, and I'm like, I'm not, because I don't think it's necessarily something people need to know about. That's the way I feel. And I think also, if you are somebody who has 300 million people who follow you, maybe you should keep stum about certain things, because you can influence people in one way.
You're mobilizing a militia, regardless.
Be it for good or for bad, it's like you are influencing people. Granted, we should be able to make up our own opinions, regardless of the celebrities that we love, adore, and follow. The thing is, if your celebrity tells you to do this, you might be subconsciously influenced by it. And I think there you should maybe, granted freedom of speech, but still, you are so influential, you should avoid talking about.
I think it comes down to a combination of time and place. Like, we try to keep our show as free of politics as possible, unless it directly is affecting something that we're talking about. But in general, it's like we try to keep this political free as possible, because that's not our intent with the show. Now, if I, on my own personal Facebook page and some of my social media, yes, I will spout my opinion, but everybody knows that is my personal opinion. I also don't speak about things that I am not well educated about.
Yes. Well, and here, let's talk about the power of influence, because Nick brings up the point, you're influencing people regardless of how you know it. And I'm going to go way back. I was not alive by then, but I remember my mother has talked about this. My mother just talks about all the weird stuff. But in 1965, has anyone heard of Soupy Sales?
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, Soupy Sales is before, like, Bozo the Clown. Krusty the Clown is based off of Soupy Sales in the right way. Soupy Sales, pretty much, and it's recorded, and I can go over articles, but he was this beloved TV clown, but, like, not a traditional clown, like, more like the, like the boho clowns, essentially. Like the sad clowns that, have one shoe or whatever. And he said to the kids on his morning kids show, hey kids, Soupy Sales needs you to get into your mommy and daddy's wallet, so when they're at home and in bed and sleeping, you have to sneak into their purses and take some money and send it to Soupy Sales and blah 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 blah. And like thousands of kids took their parents' money and mailed it off to Soupy Sales, and he got canceled because of it. Right. But you're influencing young minds, and I think in my like little Disney princess mode, I would love to think that all people are good, but I also know that a lot of people are villains. And you want to believe in the best of people, and if you don't, then you become callous and you become really paranoid and frustrated by it. But I want to believe that people are still good out there, but right now it's the me movement, of look at me, I'm gonna do this, look how many, like the clickbait and like the anger bait, like people are doing it for attention, and again it goes into that self-absorbed, not giving a damn about anyone else in the arena. And I just wish people would sit down, shut up, and see what they're doing and care just a little bit.
But then you
Yeah,
also
and
have
that
the
is that
masses
has
who
been
want to be angry about something.
yeah.
What it is.
That is what is happening now is because people have felt like they have not been cared about. And they were nice and they went along to get along, and they just got dumped on every turn and corner, and everybody has responded to it in a different way. Some have responded positive ways to do it, others have gone very not positively. I think when you do have a platform like this, you do have to realize that you do have influence. So, you know, we love the quote, with great power comes great responsibility. And I think a lot of people are just like, well, I have a lot of power and screw responsibility. And they do not take responsibility for these things. Also, you do have to recognize you represent, especially when you're in, you know, if you are in a movie, if you are with a publishing company, if you are with a record label, if you are with whatever in a play, you represent that entity, whether you like it or not. And even like that does affect other people.
You have to be selective with what you're choosing.
To be selective, and you know, and a lot of things that certain individuals have been fond of saying on social media. If you don't like my politics, don't buy my thing. I can guarantee you there's been an office of executives hearing their star person, who whatever, and like, what the, get that shut her up, or whoever it is. And it's like,
yes, but it's also a marketing ploy, because here we are several months later, and I'm not saying specifically, but you know, it's this marketing tactic of, oh well, we're gonna make this really crazy statement and be like, whoa, we're so sorry, but also now months later you're talking about the whoa moment. And you're like, well, but so and so did this, or like, there's a big thing again, the Broadway world, like Patti LuPone just went off on a Audra McDonald, and like big, like no, naughty racist stuff. And there was a petition of like 700 Broadway professionals who were like trying to say like, this is what needs to be established. If you're going to be a stupid person, you're going to be callous and you're going to be mean, you need to have anger management, and this should go for anybody. You should be disinvited from these things. I think ultimately, I think people have to be held accountable for their actions, and I think that as a society we are failing them miserably.
Well, a lot of it too is like we are selective in who we hold accountable. It's like, well,
Yes, 100%.
And you but what about like the 20 or so others? And I don't want to delve into whataboutism, but I was like, okay, good, you got that one sleazeball. What about all these others?
The rest.
We all know they're out there and they're all doing this. So if you really gave a crap about whatever it is you're spouting, like, I don't believe you. I don't believe you when you're saying, oh, we're gonna take this on and we're gonna do this. It's like, well, yeah, you took it on for one scum bucket. But you know, there's a gazillion others, but you know, they're all your best friends, so you're not going to do anything. So I don't trust these institutions.
Yeah, there's the rule for the rich and the rule for the poor is what it is.
Yeah, I just don't.
To make the rich richer and then make the poor poorer, 100%.
Is what it is. Yeah, there isn't a universal line when it comes to that. But I mean, ultimately, I think, yeah, if you're an entertainer, focus on your entertainment.
Yeah, you've got,
you know, it's like, you guys, I came out with a new single, check it out. But you're not going to talk about, you know, I hate this, I hate Caesar, I hate Brutus, I hate whatever. You're going to just go with, this is what I'm doing. You know, it's like, I've got a new movie out, check it out, guys. End of story. As far as I'm concerned, that's my personal opinion.
Yeah. I did like Tom Cruise. He was promoting, where was he? It was somewhere, and he was promoting the new Mission Impossible, and somebody asked him a politically charged question, and he's like, we're here to talk about the movie, so let's talk about the movie. And I was like,
well, and that's that redirect that I think is key. But sometimes when people have that spotlight on them, they're like, oh, well, I'm going to talk about it.
He's like been in the industry long enough that he knows how to deflect that, and obviously not everybody does. Not everybody knows how to do that, but I'm not going to say I'm like the biggest Tom Cruise fangirl,
but it's a respectful move.
Yes, and I respect him for doing that, and he feels like he's been the sort that's like, hey, we're really grateful, after the pandemic, that people are coming back to the movie theaters, and thank you for coming. Hope you enjoy our movie, which I'm like,
that's how it should be. That is how it should be.
He's not always been my top favorite person ever, but right now in this moment, dang it, good on you, Tom.
But you said something, and I agree. They should know better. There are people out there that either getting the directive from their PR to give that big, oh my God moment, or they're letting that spotlight hit them and they're taking that opportunity to go against the grain and make it all about them. But Tom Cruise has been in the industry for 500 years. He's a freaking vampire. But he really is.
Yeah,
true, like a real one. But he's done some weird stuff.
Let's
look at Robert Downey Jr. for a moment. Does anybody remember what happened with him?
Oh yeah.
Free Iron Man. Oh yeah.
They got him for Iron Man because
heart and soul, anything Robert Downey Jr. being a star. And like a big star, and he got caught with but we all like had a huff and puff about it, and then now we're like, oh my God, he's freaking Iron Man and Doom, and we love RDJ, and like now he's like
the man has an Oscar.
The man has an Oscar. And
if you had told the RDJ who was in an orange jumpsuit for the umpth time that, hey, decades down the line, you're going to win an Academy Award for your acting, you probably would have laughed.
Well, but Rachel, to that extent, 100%.
You're smoking something better than me.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? But can you guys imagine the RDJ situation? To kind of summarize it, he was caught in a vehicle in Vegas with a prostitute. We'll just leave it at that, on top of the illicit drugs and everything else. But can you imagine that happening today?
There would be no grace. There would be no mercy. There would be nothing.
Nothing. He would immediately be canceled, blacklisted, kicked out. Marvel would be like, well, we don't have a Dr. Doom, or we're going to have to rebuild Dr. Doom's face, and we already killed off Iron Man. I mean, it's that serious and quick. And sometimes, and I know I'm going to be against the majority here, sometimes I think it's too much of a reaction. I get it, but like, sometimes people do mess up. If it's a big mess up, then yes, the actions taken should reflect what they did. But sometimes, like, I don't know. There's something where there has to be a checks and balances. I'm sorry, Chrissy, what did you say?
Oh, I was going to say there does need to be, and I think we've lost this in our, as a society. I hate that term because it's just gotten so overused, but we've lost this concept of people can be redeemed. I recently watched a video. I don't know, like some of you were, sports fans. If I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Michael Vick situation from, years. And he, his what he did, and I at the time I was watching that, I'm like, good grief, like why would you do that? Like, you awful person. And he went to prison and all this stuff. And then when he got out of prison, there was this whole thing like, well, should he come back to football? Should he do that? And there were all these teams that were like, absolutely not. He has no place in here. And there was a lot of discourse on this. And then finally, at the time, the Philadelphia Eagles, Andy Reid was the coach, and Donovan McNabb, who was the quarterback, a very prominent quarterback, and he said, look, Michael Vick is my friend. He is a changed man. He is remorseful. Let's give him a shot. And Andy Reid went to bat for him, and every interview with Michael Vick, he was remorseful, and he said he was sorry, and he wanted to work to make it better. Now there's a limited amount of what you can do to really make amends, but you felt like, and then this video was talking about, look, he he served his time. We talk about paying our debt to society, and this is an extreme case where someone went to prison for it. But then he came back, and he was actually still pretty good. Not as good as he was before.
Right.
He didn't go back to his original team, but like since then he's like started charity, charities with the Humane Society, and animal charities, and he's spoken out, and he's like, and you can tell, and I mean, and that stuff takes time to like see that someone is sorry, and someone is, and this happened like right before social media became the monster that it is now. And there are still people, and I don't blame them, who are very upset that he has gotten a second chance. But at the same time, like, my personal beliefs are, I believe that, we can give people a second chance.
Right.
And
give them that little bit of grace.
Chance,
like,
and, give them another chance if they do well or if they screw up. Or I just, just in my personal core values is that, we are given chance after chance after chance to make mistakes, but to also come back from them. But then again, there are those people who just will not forgive, and you got to kind of accept that that's a thing. And so I don't know. There's a lot of nuance to this, and I feel like we have lost the concept of nuance in favor of rage clicks, because there is, and I have been there. I wrote for a news website many moons ago, and it wasn't about informing people, it wasn't about expressing an opinion, it was about how do we get clicks. And I was just so disillusioned by this, and by the time I got laid off, I was like, actually, I feel relieved now. Because I was like, I need this job, but gosh, it kind of sucks the soul out of you.
Well, Chrissy, to kind of interject there, I mean, prison, when it comes to prison, at least over here, it's supposed to re-educate, not punish. As in, you are serving your time to then be reintroduced, hopefully, into society as a corrected person.
Well, that's what I'm saying with this petition they did for Patty LaPone. It's the same thing of like, here are the steps. It's like a 12-step program. You messed up. Here are the 12 steps that you should go through to reintroduce yourself properly back into the industry or back into the world.
Yeah, I mean, because it's supposed to be, it's called as I believe in the States, a correctional facility.
Yes.
Yes.
That is
correct you, not punish you. The whole concept of going to prison is
capital punishment. Yeah.
Exactly. Is you're supposed to go there to learn, not to be punished.
Yeah.
And I agree.
We talked about that when we talked about Shawshank. Because I went and visited the filming location that doubled as Shawshank, and the whole history of the actual building was that it was supposed to be for like your non-violent, like, you just broke just a law just enough to get sent somewhere to get locked up, but it was supposed to be more rehabilitated than anything, and to avoid, and so that these guys could learn trades and stuff and then go back out into the world and get a job as a carpenter or a bricklayer or whatever.
I mean,
based on the time period.
Yeah, I mean, there are some individuals who are beyond being corrected. We know this. There are extreme cases, and we have seen this. But the concept of prison is you're here to learn. And I would actually like to throw this over to Hollywood, because we talked about this in our little sports ball group. Folks watching, we have a little group. We talk about sports. Holly, you brought up Brent Favre, and you brought up Aaron Rodgers. Like, when it comes to these kind of folks, I mean, have they served their time, if you will, and should they be kind of reappreciated for what they did for the sport?
I probably it's just hard to say, because
I didn't want to put you on the spot, by the way. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. It's yes, but then sometimes I like with Favre, it came out, and then yes, he's kind of apologizing. So yeah, Aaron, that's still meant to be proved. I mean, take a look at Pete Rose.
There you go.
You know,
Those put into the Hall of Fame recently, the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Right. Yeah. I mean, did he admit he was wrong? Yeah. So
I think it's also how they react as to how they should be punished, because if we're like, oh my God, like, and it's sincere, like, oh, hey, like, I definitely.
If they're accepting of it, and like, yes,
if they're accepting of it.
I did.
I think actions speak louder than words a lot of times. And it's like, okay, you said you're sorry, now act like it.
Well, right. But if they accept it and it's not just well, my PR team said that I need to, say, hey, I'm so sorry.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're actually like remorseful, I think there's a better opportunity there.
It walk the walk, talk the talk, but walk the walk. That yes, I am sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing, because I think of like the. I mean, obviously, don't want to get too dark here, but you think of extreme crimes like serial killers, for example.
Mm-hmm.
You have the so-called co-ed killer who is still alive and is out there. He openly said, "I don't deserve to be out in society because I know I will do it again."
Right.
And they've actually put him up for parole multiple times, etc., because he's served for such a long time. Right. And he said, no, I don't want to be up for parole. I'm happy where I am in prison because I know that if I get out, I will do it again.
Well, right. And if somebody is directly saying like they're content in having that like limitation and that like militarized kind of, this is how your day is going to be. But like when you get into that thing and that's how you have to live, then that's your prerogative. And like, if he doesn't want to go, then you don't have to force him to go. But if he's using the system and then very much being
Edmund
like, hey,
Kemper,
I'll
that's the guy's name, Edmund Kemper, who's still alive and in prison, of course.
But if he was like, well, I'm going to murder someone the minute I get out of here if you make me leave. Well, now you're endangering society. Is he actually changed? Is he rehabbed, or is he just that crazy, or is he doing it for the reaction of, well, we can't let you out because you're going to murder somebody?
No, he literally had the presence of mind to say, don't let me out because I'll do it again.
Right. Correct.
Yeah. I just dropped a link to a Goodreads page for a book I read. All this talk about prison and whatnot. It reminded me of this book.
Happy things.
Yeah. No, this is many years ago. It's a book it's a memoir. It's called Shakespeare Saved My Life. What was the rest of it? Shakespeare Saved My Life. 10 Years in Solitary with the Bard. So it's written by this woman named Laura Bates, and she is a professor of Shakespeare, and she got invited to teach a Shakespeare class in the solitary confinement unit in the Indiana Federal Prison.
Yeah.
So a class, it's like just her and this other guy, and it's like, well, what? This guy's never gonna get out. This guy is because he murdered someone, and he's one of those that's like, yeah, I deserve to be in here. So it's like, why are you teaching Shakespeare to this guy? Like he's never gonna use it. Well, it ends up like him learning about Shakespeare and learning like about the stories and the characters, especially Hamlet. And so I recommend you read this book. It's like just while he's in prison, it just kind of opens up his life, even though he's still there. He's stuck there, but he like wrote a dissertation and he got I don't know if he got a PhD, but he like wrote, and it was published and all this. It's an amazing book. It's an amazing story. I'm not going to say it's like going to happen all the time.
No, there are all sorts of stories about, wasn't it like a, wasn't it a movie that was up for Best Picture this last Academy Awards that was based on the prison where they were like, they taught some of the inmates like how to perform.
Yeah, I
know there was. I know. Unless you're referring to Sing Sing, but I don't know if that's the one you were referring to.
No, but it's something like that where it's that they've shown in some cases. I mean, it depends on the criminal, but I mean, the person that's behind bars. But there are some populations that are behind bars that all they really need is just to be given tools that they can use once they're back out in the real world. That
rehabilitation, like I can't remember where the prison is, somewhere in the desert, but they like literally they don't have anything inside. They have all the prisoners have to wear like pink, and they all have cots on the outside, but they focus on training them to get back into the real world, whether it's how to do their taxes, or how to change a tire, or how to cook a meal, or how to do an interview. Like, they go through and they actually take the time to rehabilitate. I'm gonna have to look up the name of it, but they said that they're like they do like a survey of like different temperaments, and they said that the prisoners of that specific jail or prison are the happiest. Like, their mentality and their morale is the highest because they feel like they're going to be reintroduced into society and given another opportunity.
Yeah.
Let me see.
And there is a lot of that going on. It's like,
it's in
like,
Galveston County in Texas.
Yeah, that sounds right. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that going on, and it's like you see all these things happening, and it's like, what do I want to do something, I want to help, and it's like, well, what can just, and it's sort of a cliche. What can one person do? And you just you kind of do your best. Is really what you got to do.
That's all one can do.
Yeah,
I think
that's what we've tried to do.
Yeah,
and you guys have. And 500 episodes later, you're still kicking some butt and taking names.
Yeah,
doing our best.
I mean that we don't necessarily, with the feedback that we get, obviously, like the stuff we get in like the email and stuff we'll read out, but the things we hear, out and about, especially with me, because I'm just so in and out of the circles, my own social circles with the conventions and stuff. So I see and talk to a lot of people. And I have heard from, more than one person that, our show is, for them, it's really just an opportunity for them to listen to people of a similar mindset who are into the same things and are unabashedly fangirling about it. I mean, there's, we don't have tangents and squee as our tagline for no reason. Like,
right.
we're not asking permission to squee. We are going to squee.
We're just gonna do it.
You're giving the warning of squeeing. There's a squee warning.
Yeah. It's not necessarily maybe what we intended when we started. Really, it was just we enjoyed talking to each other so much. They're like, hell, if we just record this, we could put it out as a podcast, and maybe other people like listening to it too. And I think over time, we've realized that, again, this is part of my own personal story and part of the reason why, eventually, sometime before hell freezes over, I will finish this book.
You'll get there, Rachel.
I know. I just gotta get my wrist sliced into first.
I'm putting my name down for a signed copy. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. If I get a pub, an agent or something, I'm like, can I do book signings in Europe?
There you go.
You have a free place to stay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But the thing is,
my living room. You're welcome to do book signings in my living room. It's fine.
Oh, that's a good idea,
Nick. My thing for the longest time is, while I didn't necessarily have the language then of when I was, really nerdy. I've always been pretty nerdy and geeky about things, but in going back to being teenagers, especially in high school, I really kept that on the DL because I did not want to be. I did not want to become that stereotypical nerd that got shoved in their locker by the jocks.
I was a stereotypical nerd who played the flute in the marching band.
Yeah, see, I was in color guard, so it might as well be the same thing.
No, color guard were cool in my school. Color guard was like considered the cool girls.
So but it took me. It has taken me a long time to really become very self-confident, not just in who I am as an overall person, but also those aspects of me that I've always tried to keep hidden. So now it's all like, yes, damn it, I am a nerd. I call myself a professional nerd. You know what?
Yep, and you are.
If
it works that way.
If there is the equivalent of 16-year-old me out there that may hear some of this or see something that we post on social media and go, look, she's married and has a job and is not
nerd does not
being
have
a productive...
the bad connotation anymore that it used to, nor should it.
Exactly. And that's why we continue to do this.
Yeah. I mean, I was on the basketball team in high school, and like my high school, we were like passing around, those big doorstopper fantasy novels. But even then I was kind of like, this is weird, but I love it. But I think when you're younger, when you're a teenager and you're still trying to figure stuff out, and then you don't really know how to fit in. And for me, like even in college, that was kind of like, oh my gosh, like how do I operate around people and do all these things? I just want to read my books, man. But yeah, no, I mean, I feel like this podcast, like I've said this before, is there's been times and I'm like, I get home and I'm like, I am so tired and I don't want to do anything. And do I really want to log on? But then I get on and I'm like, woo, we're just here we go
it's
nuts.
a mental high. Well, and you guys make a good point of in high school we did this, but we didn't know how to fit into society. But I think, we're all about the same age ish. I think that back in the day it was something like we were told 40 was old, and we were told like, think about it. Like, I had a panic attack before I turned 40. I was like, oh my God, I feel so old. And when you look back and you're like, I'm actually pretty young. And Nick and I have had this conversation several times. But,
though it still blows my mind when I watch Gilmore Girls that Lorelai is my age, but whatever.
Okay. Am I the only weirdo? But I don't think I am, especially in this podcast. So if I'm watching a show, like right now I'm rewatching Glee, because why not? But I'm like, oh my God, I wonder how old Jonathan Groff was when he was in this. And I'm literally while I'm watching the show, I am on IMDb or Google and seeing how old they are now. When did this specific episode come out? And comparing myself to like, well, how was I at this age? I do this all the time. And I've done this for years and I don't know why. And it's obsessive. But you're growing up, things are built. Like being a nerd is bad. Smoking is cool, like green hair means this and pink hair means this. And if you wear something with the rainbow, it's pride. Like I think it's like what you guys were saying before, enjoy what you want to enjoy and don't like listen to anybody else, but also be respectful of the fact that if you enjoy it, a lot of other people don't push it on other people.
Right. But like, or don't yuck somebody else's yum if they enjoy it. It's like,
me, I said it all the time. Don't yuck someone else's yum. 100%.
Yeah, even though it might not be for me, but if you love it, fine.
Yeah, even though it still shocks me to this
day. Too much.
Yeah.
Even though it still shocks me to this day now, watching Gilmore Girls when I was Rory's age and now I'm Lorelai, it blows my mind.
I think that's my night show. I literally for years don't know how it happened. My okay, I'm going to turn over and go to bed. I literally throw in Gilmore Girls and I let the whole series run, and then when it's over, I watch the year of Gilmore and then I go right back to the beginning because I know the episodes so well.
It is the comfort show par excellence is what it is.
Yes.
But and then how many times do you have to stop yourself when Jared Padalecki comes on and he's Dean?
Yes.
No, you're Sam. You're Sam. You're not Dean. You're Sam.
Well, I mean, my moment is when Sebastian Bach comes on. I'm like, holy crap, Sebastian Bach is not.
Mine is Milo Ventimiglia because I'm like, okay, Jess. And then you're like, okay, and now he's like daddy. No, and Scott Patterson, who's Luke, actually has his own podcast. I'm all in. And now they're doing Gilmore Girls like a day in the life of in Connecticut, like 20 minutes away from my business partner's house. And they do visit. I'm like, oh my God, there's Gilmore Girls, like super fans. But it's fascinating because you're like, oh my God, Lorelai is only supposed to be 36. Oh, Lauren Graham was actually 36. Wow, she was doing pretty good for her age, because if you look at a 36-year-old now, she couldn't do what Lauren Graham's doing now. Like Lorelai Gilmore would have never done that at this age. No. So it's fascinating.
It's a wonderful, wonderful show. I love that show so much.
We'll have to have a quote off one of these days, Nick.
Yeah, exactly. We have to do like I don't know, like a Gilmore Girls episode at some point. But
Please, I was gonna say we need a Gilmore Girls episode.
Oh yeah, I mean, I know
Add
that
it to the list.
our mutual friend Charles Skaggs is a huge fan of Gilmore Girls.
I love it. I love it. Me and my best friend Holly, she and I, if we're having a bad day, it's Oi with the poodles already. Like it's automatic. It's just automatic. It's bad. And then during COVID, I was sewing masks and I was like, I feel like making something different. So I did like the 1,000 Yellow Daisies or like Team Jess, Team Dean, Luke's Diner. And those were the first to go. Everyone's like, oh my God, I need this. And it was hysterical. Team Logan, still have Team Logan because nobody likes him.
Great stuff.
But it's a great show, and so is this show, and I'm so proud of you guys for what you guys have been able to accomplish. My podcast is now we're literally almost at a year. We had our year anniversary like 2 episodes ago.
Nice.
We hit official episode 52 tonight, but we've had some special where we've had guests. But June 12th is I chose June 12th, the anniversary of Pulse, as the date of the Broadway Fan Club's official licensing, to when we became an LLC to kind of celebrate. So this whole week is a little bit weird for me, and I'm so glad that you guys were like, hey, if you want to come and hang. And I was like, I would love to, because we never get a chance to catch up all the time.
Right.
So about
you're doing your show when we're usually doing ours.
Yeah, but
it's all about celebrating
the Monday nights because that's when Broadway is closed.
It's all about celebrating this week then, because there's Fiveish Fangirls anniversary, Gold Standards anniversary on the 11th, and now Broadway show on the 12th. So it's
Broadway show.
It's all about celebrating. Well, I mean,
it's like 5 a.m. for Nick, right?
Give me a break. It's
like about every night at like 11:30, if Nick's up, he and I will talk on the phone for about 2 hours, and I'm like, how are you still awake?
Yes, and the crows are cawing because sadly we don't have any birds.
I'm like, Nick, go to bed, dude.
Yeah.
I used to wake up to the birds chirping as the sun would rise. Now it says
yeah. I do too, but that's usually my knees popping.
At least it's not a tree full of starlings just going.
Ooh.
No, we don't get the birds chirping anymore because the crows now dominate my area.
They've
either eaten or chased all the other birds away.
I'm fortunate enough to live in my apartment complex, but like I tell you, by all the theme parks, I can tell what time of night it is by which theme parks are going on, which fireworks are going off at what time.
Sure.
But I'm also very fortunate that besides my loud neighbors, late at night, there is no tree outside of my window for birds to be chirping. And somehow, because I'm on like a courtyard, but like my apartment's on it's like an L. My blackout curtains, I have to turn my light on in my room to get out of bed because it is so dark. So dark. It's lovely.
Yeah, I mean,
it really
as cool
is.
And as metal as it is to wake up to crows cawing, and as soon as sometimes I actually find myself doing this when I hear I'm like do 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 do.
Really?
Final countdown.
I think that might be our sign that we should probably wrap this up. So, I'm on summer vacation, but it is Holly is working summer vacation, and Brittany does have a job, and so does Chrissy.
I have a job too.
Thank you for ringing us in there, Rachel. Appreciate it. Nobody could have gone on forever.
I know. That's how this show started. Is it because we'd spend 6-8 hours just hanging out, just talking?
Oh yeah,
right.
So
and playing the Doctor Who gem matching game that is no longer with us.
R.I.P.
I think we just need to have like a podcast family reunion every month or something, just because
something.
There you go.
So before we go, I was told by my dear husband. He just finished or he just published his 7th book in his Long Black series.
Nice.
Dagger in the Black. Again, this is his main series that he works on. This is like, I don't know, book 11 or 12 that he's actually published. It is live. It is also on Kindle Unlimited. So if you want to hear the continued adventures of Morgan Black and all the crazy shenanigans she's getting up to with her space truckers versus pirates and totalitarianism BS, that book is up, and I'm going to put the link in our chat, and hopefully we can add that to the show notes. So yeah, so if anyone's been following the series, you can get it ebook if you have Kindle Unlimited. And if you want to buy the paperback, you can get that as well. We've actually had, he put it up, he got it published, and it was like the weekend before we were going out of town to go see my family for the weekend. And he had all these messages like, where's the paperback? And that's a bit of a process to get the paperback ready for prime time. So we left a little early Sunday so he could get back and get that up so people would throw money at him. For that, but,
I saw that and it's like, oh, yay!
Yeah, so it's up, it's going. We've gotten some good feedback, so that's awesome. And I will say this: that's why, and Jared with his circle of author friends, and I'm kind of in that mix a little bit. It's like the common refrain is, hey, we want to entertain people and maybe put a smile on their face, maybe give them something to focus on other than maybe whatever crap is going on in their life or such. So, I mean, that sentiment is shared across several genres or fields or whatever you want to talk about. But yeah, so that book is up. So go check it out. If you haven't, it's pretty good. I'm not at all biased, of course. It's a space opera. Girl, the first book, she escapes her with her parents' help. She escapes a totalitarian planet, ends up learning to be a mechanic on spaceships, and then by a variety of very offbeat events, she ends up in command of several of them. So it just spirals out of control, and she's like, look, I just wanted to be a mechanic, that was all. But no, it's great. So I told him I would plug the book.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the time for shameless self-promotion, especially Heather, considering Heather's actually not been on the show before. So we just you kind of came in and we just were like, hey, Heather's here, and our listeners are gonna be like, Heather who?
Well, now they're gonna be like, oh god, that girl. Oh no. But I will tell you that Nick did tell me that when I'm on episodes with him and Keith or him and Charles, that his numbers go up significantly. So
there you go.
Because you and Keith have that particular chemistry, and I so look forward to that tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, yay. So excited. I was gonna say we can have a family reunion, but just don't invite Keith.
Love you, Keithy, if you're listening.
But no, I appreciate you guys letting me pop in, especially after my show, because I was like Broadwayed out and I'm like, let's get into some serious stuff. I'm here for it. Bring it on. Then we can talk about Jonathan Groff teabagging Keanu Reeves. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
He went for it.
I didn't have it on my bingo card.
And Keanu loved every second of it.
He was just like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
But no, seriously. I mean, this is your opportunity for shameless self-promotion. So promote away, girl.
Yes.
You got a captive audience.
Okay, well, check out the Broadway Fan Club if you are a lover of theater, whether local or national or international. If you like theater, if you like musicals, if you like drama, whatever kind, whether it's on the stage or behind the scenes, check us out. We have 103 different fan groups. We are aligned with several Broadway and off-Broadway shows officially. So we bring you direct information from the shows, insider info. We actually knew that Beetlejuice was coming back to Broadway this fall before it was officially announced, and we talked about it on our podcast. Yes, we don't shame anybody. We might give you a hard time if you forget, like one of our favorite members tonight, that we started at 8 o'clock. Which was great. But we really truly want to create a community of fans that also feel like if someone's going to New York to go see a show and wants to buy a cabaret table at Just in Time or Cabaret, and you can only buy it in a pair, but if they want to go solo, that they can find somebody they're comfortable with in our group to travel. We do meetups all the time in New York and in different areas of both Florida and Connecticut. I'm an adult theater kid, so I'm totally down for it. We're very open. BroadwayFanClub.com will take you to a list of most of our fan groups. We are even doing some fun merch. So right now we have my favorite merch shirt that I've ever created. That's only Broadway fans, and it's literally the OnlyFans logo. You are welcome. So check us out on Facebook, and then Instagram is at the B-Way Fan Club, and then you can also find us streaming on YouTube at the Broadway Fan Club. So lots of plugs.
Yay.
That sounds so inappropriate, but plugging away. Thank you for that.
I mean, that's almost as long as Nick's, which, you know, at this point, Nick's been on our show all enough. It's like, if people don't know where to find DJ Nick, then I'm sorry.
It's true.
Sure.
And of course, you can always find all of our shenanigans on our website, which is thefivishfangirls.com. And if you miss this live stream, timey-wimey, sorry.
Watch it later.
Watch it later, except Facebook's doing a thing now that videos are only staying up for so long. But anyway, the audio for this will go. The audio for this will go in the feeds. I'm probably not really going to do a whole lot of editing. It's just going to go out. Just like this, they just won't have the visuals.
Uncut and unedited. That's how.
Well, you know what? Like I said, I'm having my wrist sliced into the day after tomorrow, so I don't really have time to do a lot of editing. So you're getting it as is.
I'm getting my neck sliced into in a month, so we'll
nice.
share war stories. Ain't it great?
Yes. Yeah.
I won't tell you what I had sliced open last October.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't even want. I'm gonna go eat my dinner now.
Yeah.
That's why I said I'm.
Thank you, everybody, for. Yeah, thank you for our guests for coming on,
Yes,
coming, and thank you for everybody who watched, who commented. Chauncey put a couple comments in here, saying congratulations and all that fun stuff, and reminding us that Bama, his grandmother, called Metallica the Metallics.
That's cute. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I like that better.
Yeah. So 11 years, 500 episodes. It's wild, but you know, there's still plenty to talk about. Even now, we've added to the to-do lists multiples. So we're not going to run out of things to talk about.
Club podcast.
That too.
Yeah, add that to the list. Add it to the list. Well, congratulations to another 500 episodes and another 11 years of awesomeness for you guys, for sure.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Proud of you guys.
Thanks for being here, and
yes,
it's great. This was fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
We will catch you all later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you, our Fiveish fam, for joining us on this week's geeky journey. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Stay connected with us on our website, thefivishfangirls.com, and follow us on most social media with @FivishFangirls. Plus, check out our nonprofit, Fangirls Give Back, to see how we're making a positive impact in our community. Until next time, stay nerdy and let the squee continue.